Audio.
Welcome to Live and Learn, the only show that Hutch quit.
Is that intro supposed to have audio or anything, or is it just quiet?
It has audio. I don't
Oh,
know if it
okay.
has royalty-free audio, so I'm just hedging my bets right now. I don't want to break anything.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, unless you want to pay for the lawsuit. I get a lot of scam phishing emails from people that are like, "Hello, sir, it is me from Bangladesh, and you've been using my unlicensed music, and you need to pay me. Just click on this link, please, and take it down, and we can let's
Damn.
work out some sort of deal." And then some poor YouTuber who thinks their entire livelihood is about to be ruined clicks that link, and they make $500 or something. So,
Well, don't click.
Pisco, you're muted. You've muted yourself.
I see. I was saying we have a guest this week.
And you're using the wrong mic, Pisco.
Oh no. I'm not a guest. I'm subverting. I'm snuck in the back door.
Yeah, we have Jolah Politics here. Welcome, Jolah. Welcome back to the show. You've been on before, right? Once, twice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I think based on the first time we had you on, I thought you were like a crazy radical. But I've been following your tweets a little more now, and you're very much in the moderate space, as far as I can tell. I thought you'd be like a Luigi Mangione stan based on your energy. Does that make sense?
I've always been like Josh Shapiro, Democrat, far right, like Joe Manchin, Democrat, and I still am to this day, to be true. And recently I've been converted further to like the DSA by their like intellectual arguments and them actually wanting Americans to have healthcare, unlike the corporate establishment that does not want that. But I have a little. I mean,
wait, are you memeing? I couldn't tell.
No, I have an amazing way to start this. So, my queen. Okay, we had a great week last week. Mallory McMorrow. She put up a tweet that said, "Dems in the Midwest understand the stakes and are acting accordingly," which is awesome. And in the comments, they showed a picture of someone commenting and said, "Ma'am, you were mocked by your opponent for this." And it's that picture of Mallory McMorrow marching behind with a line, and the person has the big cutout of her head.
Yeah,
and it's when El Sayed said, "This is what happens when you have no policies." And in response to this, Mallory said, "Oh no, was I mocked? I want Michiganders to have civil rights, voting rights, bodily autonomy, clean air, clean water, healthcare, education funding, everything." All right. So Mallory McMorrow on point already. Who cares if I got mocked? We care about the pragmatic solutions. Then Haley Stevens and Francesca Hong. We got two sides, very different ideologies, but right away coming to support their opponent. And for Francesca, the first time her part of the party has had a chance at winning a race like this, having a 95% chance to win, according to all the fake ass betting markets, and then losing by 0.5 points, only for the next day to be at a unity breakfast and to be campaigning for Crowley already. Like, no, if you would have went off online commentators, you would have never predicted that quick turnaround. And Haley Stevens going off on Fox News saying vote Democrat. She did take a couple of shots at Abdul for not being a Zionist, and also at Bernie Sanders. She brought the 2016 primary, but get it out of your system. That's fine. We're allowed to be arguing with each other a little bit. I'm okay with that. We could bash each other a little bit. The goal in the end is to beat Republicans. I think last week was a great time for unity.
I totally agree, and I want to say, never before has one man been so vindicated as IRI. I mean, the polling was absolutely insane. Guy, what happened? How did you know?
Are you talking about Wisconsin?
I'm talking about Wisconsin after Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the polling was actually pretty good for Hong. If you look at it, they were predicting she had about 40% of support from respondents, which she ended up around 48 something, 45. But they were way off on Crowley's support, right? They had like Mandela Barnes with 20%. They had a third of respondents saying undecided. But I do think, Pisco, in general, that there is an issue right now with overestimating progressive support for their candidates. And the explanation I heard is just these people are excited. They're the ones answering the poll. They're the one who are fired up. And so maybe that's leading to an overestimation of progressive support.
Well, they probably didn't price in the cardinal, the red sparrow of God. Like there's no way to price that into the polls, but that was like the amazing sign from God comeback, right? Like how do you account for that?
Well, but Pisco, I just want to say quickly, the reason why I was skeptical wasn't because I'm a lib soldier defending my candidates. I saw back and forth, like there was a +7 Stevens and then a +15 El Sayed, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And then, obviously when he barely won by less than 1%, I was like, okay, something's going on here.
I also want to say that another man is vindicated, and that's Jolah Politics. And this is why. So I have a good buddy named Wick TV. You guys might know about him. And we were having a discussion about, like, well, what's the reason why Hong lost? And there were some people who said, well, it was all of our, like, fear mongering about the communist takeover. It convinced a bunch of people in Wisconsin, and they switched their vote from, from Hong to Crowley. But as you just mentioned, IRI, it actually looks like the margin when it comes to Hong's victory is pretty similar to what the polling was suggesting. And so how does that vindicate Jolah? Jolah has said, and did say, like a couple of weeks before, and really right before the election, that a lot of these DSA candidates are beatable if you don't just run dog shit campaigns, or if you don't split the field uselessly. And so, not to sort of discredit the all more left candidates, but I think it also shows that the moderates aren't dead yet. They can win these campaigns, and if they consolidate and using the power of friendship, they can have massive victories over their DSA opposition.
Yeah, and Peggy Flanagan, too, in Minnesota is a fantastic candidate who is progressive. And I believe she slightly outperformed. The polls were really shaky there, too, like back and forth. Like it showed Craig up, it showed Flanagan up. Then like Tim Walz's wife endorsed, but Tim Walz did not make an endorsement, which was really weird. I don't know what that was all about. But Angie Craig as well endorsed Penny. And I don't know. I know there's a conversation about Minnesota. I'm sure IRI has the best idea of this, about who they might be putting up for Klobuchar's former seat. Doesn't she have the chance to appoint someone? Do we have any idea about that yet?
Yeah, if she becomes governor, then the seat's vacant, so she would be able to put someone up. But I haven't seen any analysis saying who she would put up. No idea.
Yeah, I saw some weird stuff. It's like, do you put the loser of the primary in that spot, or do you go for a completely different person? Because it's like, at that point, did we just have both candidates who are going to get in to begin with? Why even have a primary at that point? But it showed that Democratic voters are pretty split in the state who they want. So I wouldn't mind if they chose Craig, but yeah, that's really interesting, the process of, and making that decision.
Craig lost by like 20%. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that'd be a little bit weird.
Second. Yeah, I don't think that'd be great. I have a feeling it'd be someone else.
Yeah.
I will say, though,
what's your takes though? Like, why are these polls overestimating so much? Is it like bad sampling? Is it like a YouGov where it's like online, like where you got all these like terminally online people? Like, why do we see these like massive surges and like, oh, like there's no path to victory? What's going on? Although that might have been not true. Like, why are we seeing these huge discrepancies? And is it because the media landscape is shifting so quickly, like a week before or 2 weeks before, or is it just, the polling just wasn't that accurate?
I am not a fucking data scientist, but I read Nate Silver's tweets and messages about this, and this is what he suggests, and among others, people as well, that number one, primary election polling by itself isn't super as good as general election polling. So number one, we're starting off from a less sort of good basis in terms of polling. And then number two, specifically with the Hong race and Crowley race, that things can change really rapidly when you have strategic voting by Democrats. So you have, I forget when exactly Evers endorsed Crowley and when he sort of became the alternative candidate, but it happened pretty close in time to the actual election, which honestly makes his win even that more impressive. The fact that he was able to pull together a campaign that was like aborted and turn it into a victory in so little time, and that Democratic voters were strategically able to recognize that and pick Crowley is impressive. And then finally, there seems to be a suggestion that certain populations are consistently harder to pull for, and that maybe it's the Black population, and that might explain something like the Stevens overperformance relative to polling and the Crowley overperformance relative to polling.
Yeah, there's Democrats everywhere, especially in Wisconsin. You had, like Pisco mentioned, a bunch of candidates get kicked out. Like Rodriguez's, like campaign staff was triple reporting finances and lying about expenditures and ads. And then Mandela Barnes, there was a scandal with a former, partner of his came out and said she feels he abused their power dynamic, so he was knocked out. And then you had all these Democrats, just like I was saying last week, begging for a moderate option they could support. Begging. Same thing with I think Maine would have gone more progressive anyway, but they were begging for an option. that'd be a good up-and-comer who has skills, who is able to identify with the voting population. And if you look at the politicians right now dominating the airwaves on both the liberal and center of the party, you have people who are very skilled at emotional appeals, at pathos, at being able to say, this is what I want the soul of America to be. Perhaps what Biden failed the most at. You have John Ossoff and Mamdani, who are both products of film and theater. John Ossoff made investigative documentaries, I believe. So he knows how to frame a story, how to speak. He knows what lines to put together. He was a huge movie nerd. You can find his clips talking about Star Wars. And you also have Mamdani, who was an actor, rapper. He was everything growing up. And his mom was a famous film director as well. So we have the theater kids. The theater kids are taking over the party, but we might need that because the theater kids on the right wing, the Ben Shapiro's of the world, the Michael Knowles, they also run the propaganda on their side. The Benny Johnson, he's a theater kid at heart and in the bedroom. Like we have to be able to make sure we understand how to combat this with our rhetoric. And I think the leading Democrats are leading for a reason.
Well said.
Well, I have to push back a little bit, Jolah, on your characterization of what happened with Rodriguez. My understanding is she just wasn't polling well and dropped out. And
pull out like as a reason to drop out because she wanted to.
Well, that was the same thing with Crowley, that he just wasn't seeing the juice in the poll, so he bailed. But I heard about the scandal with Mandela Barnes, but it was that he was abusing his position to sleep with younger staff members. I didn't hear anything about like abuse. I don't know if you meant to say that.
No, I did not hear any abuse, but the accusation was that the way I heard it reported, I think it was Politico or something, and Politico has reported as well. I guess shared the article. Sarah Rodriguez dropped out of the Wisconsin governor primary after a huge scandal, citing her campaign's mishandling of financial reports. She was actually favored in the betting markets at that point, and the financial reports came out, and there was mishandling, and then she dropped out. So maybe she used that as a fallout. I don't know, but there were duplicate contributions counted and undercounted expenses in that campaign. And her financial campaign or her campaign manager, Kara Spencer, had serious financial mismanagement. And then for Barnes, the story was anyone can look it up. It was not anything about abuse whatsoever. So thank you for clarifying that. It was like he was an up and comer in the party, and she thinks she wanted to do it, but then she changed her, or he took advantage of her, is what she said in that article.
Yeah, I just obviously I think it's lame to use your position of power to sleep with people, but it's not against.
Definitely no assault was claimed or no criminal action was claimed in that, but I'm sure he didn't. I mean, he wasn't polling that well either.
I agree with you and you guys in general that like I think if the moderates put forward better candidates and ran better campaigns, then these DSA people wouldn't stand a chance. Now, there are some special ones like Mamdani, as you guys mentioned, but there's no reason Hong should have ever come this close to the prize. And it was clearly because the other side screwed up so royally. And I'm curious, what you guys think about AOC and Bernie not endorsing. And I'm kind of pissed at them because I heard their reasons why. They've been asked about this multiple times. And both of them have said, we don't get involved in races outside of Congress. We're focused on this. And yet there's examples of both of them endorsing people running for governor, like Troy Jackson in Maine back in June, and AOC endorsing people running for state assembly in her state.
Yeah, they're lying.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Well, why? But okay, so I feel like it's almost something we can't say out loud that AOC and Bernie are lying straight to our faces. And I've never felt like that before. And I hate to say it.
It's like political lies where it's just obvious that they don't want to have the soundbite of them saying, I don't want to attach myself to the person who hates Thanksgiving, but they don't. So they just say, oh, I just don't do that, which is a lie, but like it's less harmful of a lie than just going out and like trash talking a person. They don't want to make enemies. So I get it, but like it is one of those like, yeah, just be truthful and say like, I don't like her that much. But it's kind of already they're on the back foot because they're on a show and they're like, hey, now you have to give your position. You're not allowed to just be silent. Like they just want to say, look, like, I don't want to endorse, but I don't want to tank this person. But now this interviewer has said, you need to give a position on this right now. And so they try to give something that's not.
And it's like deniable. Like they were able to say, usually they quote something like, we're concentrating on congressional races or something like that. And maybe that's not technically a false statement, but it's the implication there that I think IRI, it is false. And I think the truth is, yeah, they don't want to attach their brand to people who they think are losers or people who they think is going to hurt it. They want to be successful kid makers and they want to win. Now that I think is like a strategy, and it's one that which involves a lot of people being thrown under the bus or being sacrificed. And honestly, there have been some comments from left-wing people who have been like, where was Bernie Sanders? Where was AOC if they had endorsed? And honestly, I might even be convinced of that. That might have been all Hong needed to go over the edge.
Yeah, she would have won, definitely.
So I don't know. That really is, brand is like a primary concern of theirs. But that said, right, are you happy or sad that they didn't endorse IRI?
Well, I'm disappointed in them as leaders. I would have been, I know people may not believe this, but I think Hong would have been fine in the general. I don't think Tom Tiffany, who's not a very charismatic guy, would have trounced her by any stretch of the imagination. And I think I was shocked that they did not support her, mostly because she was the face of their movement on the national stage for at least a week. And they just left it to chance, like, even if you think she's going to lose, why not help her clean up her loss so she loses more gracefully and it's not so damaging for your movement as a whole. So I was just kind of shocked and taken aback at their lack of leadership when it came to
it might be more damaging to their movement, right? If they attach themselves to this person that they view as untenable and she loses, it's like, look, AOC, Bernie, you're not a kingmaker anymore. Your endorsement doesn't mean as much. And you just frivolously throw your endorsements behind anyone who just has the DSA label next to their name. I can understand being a little more hesitant and wanting to have more weight. Especially if they don't necessarily agree with everything. I mean, like, people were memeing about this, but I asked about the polls. It could be very well that she lost because of the fucking Thanksgiving thing. That's like, saying I hate American apple pie. I hate the flag, I mean, Daria Liza didn't get tanked for it, but it's hard, But Crowley also had some interesting tweets. I don't know if you guys saw about certain things,
What
I don't know if they're TOS, but anyway, we won't get into that.
I like the bird memes where it's like the red bird and different like poses and shit. That makes me laugh.
Well, but hold on. Let me press you a little bit here, Soy Pill. Don't you think that AOC and Bernie could have helped clean up her act?
Like gotten her to moderate or something?
For example, they could have helped her. Like Jolah seems to agree that their endorsement probably could have got her over the finish line since she lost by less than 0.5%. But then over the next 80 days plus, they could have helped her clean up her act and, really won the seat maybe. And boy, that would have been huge for their movement. I mean, they're
acting it's like impossible, but that's a calculation they were making, right? And I think they said that's not worth it. I don't think I can dedicate that time and change enough for it to be palatable. And I don't know. I can't read their minds. I mean, maybe they really do believe like, that she's a governor. I just don't do that anymore. But obviously that's probably not
yes
true,
or no. Should they have endorsed Soy Pill? Go.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they should have.
And part of that, I think, has to do with, and Guy, I think what you're suggesting is that it's the leadership qualities that like kind of takes you aback of AOC and Sanders, even though you like the result, right? You did want Crowley to win because you did think that he was okay. Got it. But you would have been fine with Hong.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I can see your point, IRI. They're being very judicious about their endorsements, and that's probably pissing off a lot of people, including in the, oh my god, now I'm not remembering the California race, the primary that occurred where they had the former AOC
Shoycott versus Scott Wiener.
Yeah. So I get it. I understand because I think that they are being disingenuous when asked that question, Ira, and so I think you got onto something real.
Well, the other last thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Hakeem Jeffries did something similar. I'm not sure how he phrased it, but he definitely did not want to be seen endorsing either like Cuomo or Mamdani when they were the clear two favorites, and many Democrats did not want to be seen that way. And then even after the primary, Hakeem Jeffries waited 4 months and waited to endorse the day or the week. I think it was the week before the mayoral election. So yeah, I think Bernie and AOC made political calculations. I mean, look at the margins. If AOC and Bernie did one rally, what was it, like 5,000 or 10,000 votes or something crazy? Like I think they could have given the not only not the one rally, but the legitimacy needed for Hong, because even the DSA members from like New York or Philadelphia, like Chris Rabb, didn't really show up that much for Francesca. Even the more hardline DSA, further left types that are further than Bernie and AOC.
Maybe there was an October surprise. Like there's a clip of Hong saying, "I am declaring war on Christmas," and they knew it was just like fucking over.
No more snow days.
Yeah, no more snow days, no more Christmas, no more.
And by snow
happy
days, she
holidays
meant white people. Yeah, she meant white people by no more snow days.
What was that clip where she was like, she said something about white people? She's like, you
I'm
know, I happen to
uncomfortable with
marry. Yeah, I happen to marry one. Like, you know.
Well,
She said she's got to be in proximity to whiteness to her own son. She's in proximity to whiteness because she's a half white son or something. Yeah,
my chud son, my chud white son.
I'm also shocked at how the further left moved on so quickly from her race as if it never happened, instead of celebrating what an almost win it was. It felt like only Mike from PA, of all people, who poured his heart into that race.
It's the Mike from PA effect.
Yeah, like he was, but he called it correctly in the sense that like this was a huge step forward for that movement and that faction, you know, like almost winning a governor's race in a swing state. That's commendable. And yet it seemed like Mike and maybe a couple other people were willing to talk about it. I think the left, that faction should be celebrating how close they came, but they just don't even want to talk about it. They want to move on.
Well, you think so much as guy that was you said like Mamdani is like the exception to this. Where like, oh, he like stands out and is able to, you know, moderate and be charismatic. Maybe I'm remembering the primary wrong, but like he was up against Cuomo and Eric Adams, right? Like these were notoriously not, you know, good moderate candidates with baggage. And like it's kind of more to Jolah's point where it's like a big part of his win is that these moderate candidates were pretty bad, right?
Yes. I don't think he would have won if there was a decent candidate. No offense. I mean, he's a charismatic guy. He's grown into the role. But if he had like a serious challenger, I don't think he wins because he was so new. He's like 4 years as an assemblyman. Nobody knew who he was. So
name ID,
I'm not convinced he would have won.
Yeah, Ira, to your point, which I think it's a good one. I think so much of it is expectation setting. So take the victory for El Sayed in Michigan. That should be seen as like a triumphal win. A win for this like progressive movement, like massive just demonstration of the influence of the left on the party. But it's disappointing. Why is it disappointing? Because the expectation was it was going to be a blowout. The expectation was it was going to be this triumphal, like overwhelming win, and it wasn't that. Another example, Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens in the debate. So that was a situation, I think, where on substance, Andrew Wilson won, even though he did a really bad job and didn't have a good command of the facts. And even though he like made a bunch of optics errors and that Candace Owens won on optics, which might be the only thing that matters, he still won. But why was it so negative? Well, that was pre-built. If you're a fair-minded person, you already think that Candace is being crazy, I think, on the Charlie Kirk conspiracy stuff. But that's not impressive to people to just barely win because, you know, Candace sounds crazy in other respects. And so expectation setting, Hong winning massively by +20 and to have a slight loss, that's just going to just totally clash with people's desires and expectations.
But you're right, though. You need to look at like, okay, this was like what millions of dollar ratio spending differences with a less than orthodox candidate that's farther left than what we've seen in quite a while. Like they should really be celebrating the fact that like not only did Saeed win, but it's like at all like is even a question. So like there's still momentum for these people. So.
Well, I'll dare say it. I think the reason why they don't care about the Hong race is Israel wasn't a player. I think that kept a lot of people from giving a damn, and that's why Hassan barely lifted a finger, in my opinion. He went to one rally with Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. What?
He had her on stream, I think.
So why are you sweeping, dude?
He did, but compare that to what he did for El Sayed. He went and camped out in Michigan for like 5 days. He went to the influencer pool party the night before. He knocked doors. But then when it came to Francesca Hong, who was, part of the same movement, if not even more, because she's DSA as opposed to El Sayed, who's not even DSA, he was nowhere to be found. Neither were any leftists, So it makes me think these people aren't as serious as they would like people to think they are.
Okay, but so you're saying the explanation is that Israel is not as much of an issue because it's a state race or because there's not as much AIPAC spending? Is that the point?
I'm saying because there wasn't the Israel boogeyman in the race, it kept most of those people out of it and bored to tears by it and not willing to get involved. They didn't have their boogeyman.
It might also be part of like the candidate quality issues or the lack of riz as well. Or okay, I mean, no. I don't actually know.
I actually don't even necessarily disagree, Guy. Not just because they only care about Israel, but like I remember, like Israel was a big thing when for my local politics, the Shoykot Wiener thing, they were distinguished on Israel. But for Steyer and any of the people, Porter, like I don't remember Israel being brought up for anyone in the California governor's race. I don't remember this, but maybe am I misremembering? Do you guys remember Israel being like a hot point between Steyer and Becerra or any of these people?
Well, Steyer, he talked about it, but no, AIPAC didn't play a role in that or anything like that. But I don't know. Speaking of that race, people talk about how El Sayed triumphed over $60 million in outsider spending. Well, Javier Becerra triumphed over $250 million in spending from Steyer, but nobody talks about that. But no, I think that's a fair point, Soy Pill, that, leftists were engaged in that one. I don't know, but to me, if Israel Boogeyman isn't there, it's hard to get the DSA crowd worked up, in my opinion.
Well, I do want to talk about the Larkin race, and we'll probably talk about Israel in that. But I want to kind of wrap this up. And the idea is people are coalescing. We were getting, like Jolah said, we're having these like unity breakfasts. Like Stevens is out there like, yeah, we got to vote for Saeed. And it's so important right now to come together and do that. I mean, I'm looking into Mike Rogers more, and it's like, oh, this guy is like working with like pardoned election denier slate people, like literally the January 6th. Like electioneers, like they're the people that tried to do the fraud, and they're just on his campaign, and no one gives a fuck. They're like, yeah, no, we can vote for this guy for Senate. So the coalescing is really nice to see these candidates coming together. I think Jolah, you saw this, and I tweeted about this too. This crystal ball, like retweeting Fox News like anti-Crowley clips, like after the election. Hold on.
She quote tweeted Tom Tiffany, who is the Republican nominee and is a total liar, bullshitter, and acting like he's a legit source with some deceptively edited video of Crowley. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, because I don't know, I just don't like her. Pisco, you've interacted with her, and Kyle, do you think she's an ally? I mean, this is an op at this point after that, no?
That's op.
Yes, me first or Jolah?
Well, I'm an op too, so I can't really comment on my fellow ops. I'll probably blow their,
Are you?
I'll blow their cover.
We'll blow the cover.
Well, according to the one angry gamer community that doesn't like me. But like, when we talk about crystal ball, I think we have to go for both sides. Both sides are bad. So whether it's crystal ball sharing a deceptively edited video of Crowley, and by the way, like you should be, as a progressive, you should be happy that Crowley is considered a moderate dem at this point. This guy's pro like universal childcare and pre-K. This guy wants to tax data centers to make them pay us instead of us paying the data centers, them paying for us for our electricity and giving us 100% green renewable energy. And there's so many other policies that are pro-union, pro-worker. If Crowley's a moderate Democrat, we're in a freaking good ass place. So when Crystal shares a deceptively edited video about Crowley, when his policy is way better than Tom Tiffany's, it is really cringe, especially because she never addresses it or cleans it up or gives any credit to Crowley as a candidate. And if we want people to go after people like Michael LaRosa, who's a former Joe Biden press secretary guy, he works for like a Trump firm now. He's on Fox News every day. He endorsed Mike Rogers over El Sayed. And if we all need to criticize whether it's crystal ball sharing pro MAGA slop, or if it's that guy in Fox News sharing pro MAGA slop to attack El Sayed. We have to make sure we call all of them out, and we can't just sweep for either side of our coalition. As Democrats right now, we know the focused goal is beating these freaking Republicans. And if there's a bad candidate against a Republican, that's even better for me, bro. I want the shittiest candidate, the shittiest Democrat, to beat any Republican in the country, so they know how bottom of the barrel they really are.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. Wait, I would kind of just add one, as someone who went hard on Wick for posting Fox News pretty much uncritically. I have the exact same flack for Crystal Ball, not just retweeting Tom Tiffany and Fox News clips as deceptively edited, but not to shit on Crowley for any good reason other than to compare him to Hong, who already lost. This wasn't before the primary. This was after. This was sore loser shit. And it's like, yeah, look, is this worse than Thanksgiving? It's like, one, no, it's actually a pretty well articulated position. Even if you hate data centers, it's not like I love data centers. Like, as a semi-pro data center person, I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like, he wants to regulate them. He wants to like do something that helps them work for us, and they're not going anywhere. So it's not like we could just ignore them. And the idea that you're like coming after them after it does nothing but hurt them, like that, that's like attacking Joe Biden in the general. This shit kind of stuff, Kyle and Hassan and stuff are doing in 2024, and it's bullshit. You'd like, this is the time where you don't do that. So anyway, now it's Pisco, your turn to defend your friend.
To
Crystal
sweep
Ball.
my good friend Crystal. So listen,
sweep.
The first question IRI asked was, do you consider Crystal Ball an ally? And I guess I just want to ask IRI what he means by that.
So somebody who's on the same side pushing for the same goal, because I don't know how you look at that quote tweet and think this person is on our team. The best you could say is she's trying to get Crowley to do better, but that is being as horrifically charitable as possible.
Yeah. So my response to that is, in general, I have a great window of tolerance for people doing stupid bullshit. And is it stupid bullshit to quote tweet a selectively edited clip without giving the condition and proviso, or either letting people know that it was selectively edited afterwards, or doing it in the initial tweet? Hopefully, yes. Is that stupid behavior? Is that bad behavior? Yes. But I am going to interpret a lot of this shit charitably, to be honest with you, whether it's liberals who are pointing at shit that El Sayed is saying and saying, look, we're so cooked for the general, it's so fucked, or whether it's Wick TV, the other big titan of the media in the left-wing spheres, saying, like, retweeting Fox News. I don't really give a shit. And to me, yes, it's a faux pas, it's bad. Like, is it changing my overall perspective on Democrats or the left? No. I basically price that in for a lot of commentators that I watch, that they do stupid bullshit that I disagree with. If that makes me a sweeper, I guess I'm a sweeper, but I don't know what conclusion I'm supposed to draw from that.
Let me jump on this. Pisco, I want to jump on you, not jump on you, jump with you and say, I'm not writing Wick off because he uses Fox News tactics, but I'll call it out and say, don't do this shit. Like, this is ridiculous. This is not the time. But this is not like, oh, Wick's not an ally because of it. It's just, all right. Like,
the thing is, though, like, for the Wick case, if he's just observing a talking point and he's saying, listen, I can see how the Republicans are going to use this against the Democrats, that's a fine point to make. I think and you guys wouldn't have a problem if that was all Crystal Ball was saying, is this makes him vulnerable, and they put in, like, parentheses, by the way, I know this is selectively edited. Would you have a problem with the tweet, Soy Pill? Or IRI?
No, if she's like, this is vulnerable, he needs to improve on this. Is the same way, if the uncommitted movement was like, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris needs to improve on their position on Gaza, right? That's very different from, hey, obviously it should have been Bernie, and then, like, retweeting like a Fox News clip of them or some shit like that.
I don't have a problem with that. I think it's similar to me saying El Sayed should drop Hassan. He's a liability.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But she didn't do that, Pisco.
I know. I agree. But I condemn.
But to defend Wick for a second, I did not see his tweet that you're referencing, but I'm assuming that was during the primary. This is a 1v1, Democrat versus Republican, and her tweet does nothing but help the Republican and hurt the Democrat.
No, I agree that there are differences in the Wick tweet. And listen, the comparison Wick versus Crystal Ball, I get it. It's just demonstrative of the kind of thing we're talking about. And I don't give a fuck that there's a kind of like, it's the Republican talking points. It's the Republican talking points. If it's a critique, I'm okay with you criticizing candidates for the right reasons, whether it's the primary or the general. And that's true, by the way. If liberals want to be, which I count myself among, I don't use that pejoratively, if they want to be snarky about, like, some faults with Al Sayed and him continuing, let's say that he continues to campaign with Hassan Biker, you're not going to shut up about it, will you, IRI? You won't hold your tongue.
I don't, but I won't shut up about it, but it's because I'm saying it. Every time I say it, it's because I'm saying this is holding him back. I think he can be a great senator. I'm worried it's handicapping his campaign. He can win, but it's making it harder. So I'm not like, just, this is worse than the Republican. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what she said.
The equivalent would be if Guy had a Fox News clip of them being like, look at the elect for the Democrat Senate position. He says that America deserved 9/11, and Guy just retweeted it and said, like, should have been Stevens, yeah, Stevens didn't have this fault. Or if that's all he said,
it's like destructive in your mind. It's like too destructive.
It's purely just to tear them down.
Okay, so I agree. She should have done the Josiah, which is after any criticism, Josiah will put after it. And by the way, the worst Democrat is better than the best Republican, and I'm objectively right. And you never, okay. So I agree. And I think that it's lame to not put in the tweet that it's selectively edited, that it's not representative, and that Tom Tiffany is worse. And I know that bears poorly on Crystal Ball's tweet and on, like, her intentions, 100%. But, like, what then? What is the, so what of it all?
Have you disclosed that you regularly go on Breaking Points?
I regularly go on breaking points. I want to put that out there, and Crystal Ball is friendly.
This is why I'm asking you about this, Pisco, because you know these people much better than me and probably everyone else here. I don't watch a lot of their content, but I feel like you are being incredibly charitable for
What's
her.
the charity?
That was just an attack on the Democratic nominee and portraying him as worse than the Republican on a very important issue of data centers.
So I 100% agree with you that the tweet, as I saw it again, and I didn't watch the clip compilation that was underneath it. I just saw that this was a controversy, just to be clear, was bad. I condemn it wholeheartedly. And I think that you should have put the proviso in there that, by the way, you should vote for Crowley and you shouldn't be so destructive about it. And I know she didn't. Yes, I know.
But you're acting like that's how she feels, where I think those were her feelings. She was very clear.
You think she prefers Tom Tiffany?
I think she is so disgusted with Democrats for whatever reason that she would rather see the Republican win at this point.
I will ask her this. I will ask her this.
What do you want?
Guy. We will get to the bottom of it.
What answer would make you happy? What could Pisco say to make you happy right now about this?
I will look into it, Guy, and I will ask her, and I will ask her.
No, I want to know what would make you happy. What do you want Pisco to be? What do you want to be Pisco's position? What would make you happy right now, IRA?
I want Pisco to recognize that this was an attack on the Democrat that helped the Republican, and I don't think it's because she worded it poorly or left something off. I think that she, for whatever reason, cannot stop attacking. No, I don't think she wants I should clarify. I think she would rather see a moderate Democrat lose than win.
Okay, that's disturbing if true, and I will inquire into that. Is that fair? I think that there's multiple explanations potential. I think one explanation is she's brain broken on the data center point, and she, it has this kind of both sides. No, listen, but I will investigate, because what you're suggesting is she wants Crowley to win. And trust me, I'll get to the bottom of that.
Let me use your strategy. Pause.
Yeah.
You're telling me she's brain broken on data center? There's nobody in America that's brain broken.
No.
That
is absolutely true.
Wait, guy.
No shot.
Everyone most Americans, I think, are brain broken on data centers. This is like the new like boogeyman, and the reason she's doing this is, like, my view. This is speculation. Is she's bitter? Obviously, she wanted Hong to win. She's more left leaning, and so when Hong has all this baggage, and people are totally shitting on her for the Thanksgiving tweet, for her robotic interviews, and then he comes out and says something that to her is like, how could you possibly have this position on data centers? You're insane. That's her bitterness coming out and saying, why the fuck were we criticizing her so bad when he has this insane position? Not because she wants him to lose, but this, like, that bitterness. The same reason Bernie voters, even when Hillary won, we're still shitting on her. I can't believe Hillary said that.
She's doing speeches with Goldman Sachs. Like, that's the kind of spirit in which I understand that shit. But listen, it's disturbing. That's a disturbing allegation, and I will get to the bottom of that. How is that sweeping IRI? I'm doing the investigative work. You sent me on a mission.
Yeah, okay, but Pisco, she would never say.
Wait, no, don't play both sides. Sorry, Bill, you're playing both sides right now.
Well, no, I don't like your excuse. I don't like your excuse.
What's the excuse?
Like,
what excuse?
Well, I'll ask her. Like, she's not going to say, like, oh yeah, I want MAGA to win. Oh, well, I don't know. I've heard some libs say some stuff like that recently that I'm a little upset.
So then, what do you want me to say? I condemn Crystal Ball? What do you want?
I do not know what sweeping entails, but I'm not accusing you of covering up or sweeping. I don't know if you're saying it in jest or what, but I'm not accusing you of that. But I think you're being very charitable, and now I'm even more alarmed by this idea that she's brain broken on data centers. I understand that there's a lot of populism rhetoric around data centers right now, and people are genuinely upset at them for running roughshod over the local community. But I'm saying it's such a new issue. There's no way somebody's brain broken on data centers like Israel, Palestine.
No, guys, you're underestimating the stupidity of the data center slopulism.
Oh, come on.
But also, AOC goes up there and she holds up the dirty water. She's like, look, they're taking the water, they're making it dirty with their servers. And it's like, well, that's not how that works.
But don't forget, Crystal Ball is the same person. Crystal Ball is the same person who, after Trump lost the election in 2020, she went on Rising and she said, "Where's that riot I expected? I heard all the liberals talking about some riot at the Capitol before the January 6th riots." Yes, there's a video of her going like, I thought all the liberals were libbing out about this big old riot they're supposed to have. And then weeks later, she's like, "I'm so sorry that I said there would not be a riot. So I was right." Yeah, like she's the same person. So would you guys agree that in that moment, in that moment, Crystal Ball was being sassy and petty, and in that one moment, she was willing to spread something that would hurt our Democrats' chances to win. And we all do that to some extent, but people like Crystal do it more than most of us.
No,
she was willing in that moment to share something damaging to Democrats.
You disgust me.
I'm speaking for everybody. Okay,
we all do that. Come on, we all do that. I'm just saying.
Wait, Guy. I watched you do this when Francesca Hong lost, and you said, "Thanksgiving is speaking now, bitch." That's the bitterness, right?
How does that hurt our Democratic?
It doesn't, but it
hurts our coalition building,
though.
It's
the same feeling, right?
Francesca Hong supporters are less likely to support the moderate candidate if you talk shit to them. So I mean, all of us do it to some extent. No, it's a radical difference.
Owned.
Oh, it's a joke. Oh, everything's a joke when you get called out on it.
Yeah, I don't think Crystal Ball is joking. Okay, first of all, it was a joke.
No one said she's joking. No one said she's joking. No one made that claim.
So. But I'm just saying the primary's over. We got 80 days to lock in, and we got Crystal Ball running the same script again. And it's just like they can't stop, man. It's like just once again risking losing that race because I'm going to talk about how I think the Democrat is bad on this position based on.
I condemn the tweet.
Deceptively edited clip.
It's a bad tweet. It's bad.
Okay, but don't you think it's indicative of who she is and what she represents as a whole?
What you're saying is that she wants Tom Tiffany to win, I'm not convinced of that. That's why I'm going to get to the bottom of it. If it's something else like she's biased against data centers, she's willing to be snarky as fuck and petty vindictive, and that she is petty brained and lefty brained, I agree with that. I've always agreed with that.
Just so I understand your position, you are saying that it is possible that she is just upset about his position on data centers, and that's it.
And lefty snarky brain and vindictive brain combined. Okay. That's I think more plausible than she wants.
I think it's the new boogeyman that she's put in for AIPAC or whatever. It just continues the same script. It's like Mad Libs filling in a different word. Now it's data centers I'm upset about. You know what I mean? It's like it's just another thing.
Data centers with data centers, just to be clear, having gone to a lot of the left-wing rally people with the Shoykot stuff, and I met the Daria Liza and Melek Kiros there. Data centers is the big this is the new scary thing. It is absolutely on the forefront of people's minds for some fucking reason. I think data centers are like illegal immigrants for the right, because it's
100%.
Most of these people never fucking see one. They've been here in America the whole time, and everyone pretends and now they're destroying the cities. You make up the lies about how much they hurt, the water stuff. I think the power stuff is a real concern, but this is the boogeyman of the left right now. So I think you might be underestimating it. But I agree with Pisco. I don't think this. I think, don't get me wrong, she would feel Schadenfreude if Crowley lost, but she doesn't want.
As you would feel Schadenfreude if Hong lost, if she were the nominee. And
but Wick TV,
let's be honest.
Pisco.
Yes,
Wick TV wanted Francesca Hong to lose.
Yes,
so that was he's the radical of the center that should be getting the same shit that Crystal Ball gets on the left.
Yeah, and guys, just to be clear, if Hong had won, don't you expect to see massive amounts of liberal snark, including but not limited to, you guys should sit out? I mean, that was, listen, I know these names might mean nothing to you guys. Swan Marcus said that. Mr. Mooten said that. Wick TV said that. And would you conclude, what do you mean no? They did say shit like that.
In the primary, they said that.
No, they would have carried forward into the general. And would you say...
Well, you're assuming.
No, they said that.
This debate was on Hutch. I wish Hutch was here. It was on Hutch's channel. I was there too. We were debating it the one morning.
If they did, I would condemn that just as strongly. I'm not convinced I would say that they're ops in general, because she has a pattern of this kind of nonsense, shitting on the Dems over and over and over.
I agree. Then it just matters what our conclusion is. If our conclusion is she's an enemy, well, it just really depends how you use that term. If you're using that term to mean I don't like that shit, I'm with you, right? But if what you mean is she wants MAGA to win, I don't agree with that. I think that it's better explained by brain brokenness, lefty snarkerism, all that stuff.
But do you agree that the data center issue could be prominent in November, and this could cost us the race?
Yeah.
No, this
Okay, so then
specific
why
tweet or
do
the
it?
issue? This specific tweet or the issue?
The issue of data centers.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tom Tiffany relative to Crowley, but it might be a big issue. And so, yeah, I think that it's bad. But like again, you're just reiterating things that I already agree with. I don't agree with the tweet. I think she should have indicated the overall positions. Yeah.
It hurts us. It hurts us, but Pisco is not saying that. One, she probably didn't even intend to hurt the Democratic candidate by doing this. She's just like, I don't like this. It's
no.
Not like seriously.
You can't.
Not like seriously.
Now you're. Are you serious about this?
Okay, wait. What I mean when I say hurt, what I mean is like, when Crystal Ball says this and criticizes Crowley, do you think in her head she's like, I hope he loses 500 votes on the data center issue come November? I don't think so.
She's way too shallow for that.
I can't imagine what she hopes to gain from that electorally. I think here's what I think.
Overthinking.
Let me be charitable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, tell me then. Maybe let me try to be charitable. Steelman. She thinks he's gonna win. She thinks it's safe to criticize. Let me get some internet points and ride my populism wave.
There you go.
Okay, but that's not helping. Where she could help.
I agree.
Right. No, we agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so fuck her then.
Yes. Well, we're all on the same page there, guy. We all
fuck
tweeted
you,
this.
Crystal Ball.
Okay.
Whoa.
Hey, she's come on the show before, guy.
She's
a
former guest, Ira. This is
former and potentially future guest.
Wait,
I'll
guy,
tell her to her
if you had
face
the
when
opportunity,
she comes on.
if you had the opportunity to ask her about this and talk to her about it, would you say,
actually,
hey,
no, Pisco, let's go beyond that. Let's do a little role play, okay?
Yeah, let's.
Pretend I'm Crystal Ball.
Yeah,
pretend
you
I'm
are.
Crystal Ball. All right, Guy. I heard you had some thoughts on my tweet, and I was really upset about that Tom Tiffany thing. What did you want to say to me?
I think you're playing into the hands of MAGA and risking everything, our democracy, our what we're supposed to care about on the left. I mean, if anything, you are helping the Republicans with that bullshit because you think it's safe to play games, and you need to lock the fuck in, Crystal.
Okay, see, that's a lot nicer than "fuck you, Crystal Ball." I felt
nice.
listened
I'm
to.
not gonna just scream at her.
I felt constructive criticism. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
you should role play more often.
My point is this is serious shit, and she acted very unserious in that moment at best. And I think it's outrageous to even attack the Democratic candidate like that in the general with 80 days to go about anything, even if she wanted to say his hair sucks and fuck his red.
Really, I don't buy
He's
that
crazy.
shit. No, are you gonna hold that energy if El Sayed campaigns with Hassan? You're gonna attack him for that shit, and or if El Sayed.
But I'm going to attack him. I'm going to criticize in the sense of saying, hey, man, you're handicapping your campaign. I'm not going to rage at him like that.
If Crystal had made a tweet that was like, he needs to fix his position on data centers. I don't think any of us would have called that out. Yeah.
If El Sayed wants to campaign with Hassan, I will continue to say I don't think it's good, but I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I guess he hates America, so good luck. You know what I mean?
Right. And if Crystal Ball had included in that tweet, and by the way, I hope Crowley wins, you wouldn't have had a problem with the tweet.
I still would have a problem with that tweet, but I think that would have been much better, at least.
Okay. Well, I'm going to investigate. I want to get to the bottom of it if she wants Tom Tiffany
I think it's great. If you have access to her, Pisco, and you can ask, not even on stream one day, and you're not, I won't hold you to this, but I think it'd be very interesting to ask her, what were you hoping to gain from that?
What were you thinking? Yeah.
What were you thinking?
What did you want to? What did you want to happen? And do you think that helps Crowley win, who I assume you want to win? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I agree with you though. Like, is this really going to be helpful with your friends if you're going to keep on talking about like, oh, you thought the Thanksgiving tweet was bad, and now look at your guy when he's already the candidate? Because like you want to give constructive criticism, and where I'm at, like you'll have a borough council meeting that usually has 10 audience members, have 400 when it's about data centers. So when Crowley's on video saying he wants Wisconsin to be a data center hub, not only for the country but for the entire globe, and that is what Tiffany's running with, it might be worth it for Crowley to revise language a little bit to be very poignant and punchy when he goes on TV. He could even say, because his big push is the moratorium is not really useful because we have data centers already, so we need regulations to regulate the currently existing data centers. If he even said not a year moratorium, but let's have a pause like Trump said, until we figure out what the hell is going on. If even politically he did something like that to kill he would destroy the Tom Tiffany
he did.
attacks that way.
He
but,
did.
Yeah, but the issue is liberals usually sell hot dogs by describing the meat inside the contents. Okay, they sell the hot dog in a sausage, talking about the human remains in it. We got to be able to package it as the hot dog and say, yeah, look at this, yummy. It's a wiener. And yeah, we need some punch for this. Because they're saying Data Center Crowley is going to be pressing it. I think he'll still win, even if he does not.
I'm fully on board. Let's make it the global center for it. Do you know how much fucking money that would bring in to the state? Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, but the voters sell that to people.
Yeah, oh
my God. Voters think that means the Matrix is coming to town.
I agree, Jolah, that he didn't word it as well as he could have. But that was the deceptive clip. It cut off before he explained that they need to work with the local communities. This needs to be beneficial for everybody. We're going to regulate the shit out of this until they change course and act differently. But he was saying, like, look, these data centers are a stakeholder. They're here. And they're going to play an important role in the future. So that was the problem. Is she tweeted out that bullshit that just said the part you said,
I have a question. Do you think Republicans are going to stop using that clip? This is no more crystal ball. Are Republicans going to stop using that clip?
I don't.
I want there to be a punch, a 1-2 punch that takes 5 seconds to say, not one that takes a 30-second policy analysis or a policy summary. Because I could talk about policy all day. If that was the place American voters are in, Donald Trump would not even be a Walmart greeter. Okay, he'd be bashing his head in at a WWE event trying to make money. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm all for improving the messaging, and we can't take back what he said already. But what we can do is not quote tweet the bullshit edits from the right, especially the Republican.
I agree.
That's why you should go share my pinned tweet. Go share my pinned tweet, Jolah Politics. I made a 1 minute and 30-second video talking about Crystal Ball and talking about how she should have phrased it. And if you make me the prominent progressive sweeper on the left, I will be way better than the current progressive. I'll be better than the current sweepers on the left.
Okay, I appreciate that you did that. I'm unaware of that.
I called her out too, guys. Just to be clear, we're on mostly the same
not as good
side,
as I did. I'm better. I'm the good one.
That's true. He had dedicated content. I had a 10-second angry.
I'm the good one.
So,
yeah. I did not call her out, and I'm sorry that I didn't give a fuck, but I now give a fuck, and I will investigate.
Well, Guy, I don't know if you're okay with us continuing potentially ganging up on you, but if we talk about the Larkin Moskowitz race, I think we'll have some disagreements.
I would love to talk about Oliver. Oh my God, please! He's a special boy, and he's
so we almost had him on. We tried to last minute get him on, but his primary's tomorrow, so he wasn't able to make it last minute.
He was interested though.
He's doing the rounds. He's doing the rounds. He's on every show. He's doing everything except ours. But
Yeah. So, by the way, he was interested. I just want to say, it's not that we don't have clout. We do have clout. It was a busy, schedule.
Well, just so people know who we're even talking about, this is
Florida's
the next DSA candidate who's trying to primary Jared Moskowitz in Florida, and the primary is tomorrow night. And he's been on Fox News, and he's hung out with Hassan. Not endorsed by AOC and Bernie, by the way.
I thought they were focused on.
They gave him the Hong.
Wait, isn't that a federal
I looked
race?
last night. They gave him the Hong treatment. So I
looked
wonder
for you
if
on
they
the
think
battlefield.
he's just as bad.
But IRI, you know the answer, right? The answer is they don't want to back a loser. Do you want to back a loser?
but here's the thing, Pisco.
And by loser here, I just mean someone who's likely to lose. That's what I mean by that.
No, loser's probably more appropriate. No offense, but I just was listen.
He was almost here for you to say it to his face, guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't say
I would have said all this shit to his face.
You would have said he's a loser to his face?
Probably not, okay? But I would have been just as harsh. Okay. Because I'm pissed at this guy, man.
All right,
this guy is full of shit, and I'll lay out my case why. But I mean, the fact that they didn't endorse him is horrible. And I'm sorry, Pisco, you're only as good as your weakest link, no matter what your organization is. Live and Learn is only as good as our weakest member. So we have to back each other up.
Guy, who's
I'm not going to say who it is. It could be me, okay? But we have to back each other up. And same thing with your movement. When you're the DSA, you have to back up your candidates, no matter whom they are. You can't just pretend they don't exist. Otherwise, you drag down your whole movement. So shame on them. And again, they're leaving their boy out to dry. And it's bullshit because AOC and Bernie have endorsed people running in congressional races this cycle, like Grijalva, Melot, Quiros, you name it. But not Oliver. Oliver's not special.
Oliver.
Now, if you want, I'll continue my
yeah.
my
I want
rant
you to
about
talk
it.
about the race. Yeah, because listen,
Okay,
Moskowitz
okay.
has pissed me off, and this is why. The fucking
Why?
around war shit, where he's a little bit, I don't know, maybe I'll vote for war powers resolution, maybe I won't. Fuck out of here. That shit pisses me off, and so I want there to be some pressure on him when it comes to the Iran war and this apologism to Trump. And so, yeah, I don't really know a shit ton about this race. That's why I was excited to have Oliver on. Why does he piss you off?
Well, he pisses me off because he's running on this campaign of do nothing Democrats. I think, in all fairness, Pisco, that to me is not a very strong thing to be upset about. One, a Democrat saying maybe I'll vote against the war powers resolution or not for it. I don't know. The thing is, Jared Moskowitz has been in office since 2023. Democrats have been in the minority the entire time. What can he do? What can they do from the minority? And he's acting like he would get Medicare for all tomorrow.
I just want like people to not be like, I don't know, like scared to call out the bullshit war, illegal war, strategic failure. And I want them to be prescient about it. I want them to have, like, this was obvious from day one. And it seems like Moskowitz is like, I think that he probably would support this war just if it were conducted differently or maybe by a Democrat. And I think that that's bullshit. I think that shows lack of strategic thinking. I think that that's a failure there. That said, right, I don't know if he's better than Oliver or not, or Larkin, and that's why I wanted to have him on to ask some of these questions. It looks like in the polling, Moskowitz is, running him out of the race, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, I hate to say this, but I think he's just running for the attention. He's like, seems like one of these guys who knows he doesn't have a chance. So let me lay out my case just quickly.
Sure.
We have not seen these DSA candidates win in congressional primaries in anything but D+30, right? Literally, Milot Kiros and the New York City guys, those are all D+30s. We saw Kai Newkirk in Arizona's fourth lose by like 30 points to a Democratic incumbent a couple weeks ago. That's
in a more moderate situation in the
that's a D. Yes, that's a D+4 district. Now, this is an R+3. R+3, even harder. And Oliver's just running the same script. And here's the thing. It's one of the most Jewish districts in the nation. Like 1/5 of the district is Jewish. And I think that plays into it too, man. I hate to say it, but there's always this Israel angle that these guys prey upon, these DSA freaks, man.
I'll agree with you because I saw the top tweets I saw, and this is on Twitter. The top tweets I saw said it's the most Zionist district in America, and I'm like, oh, that's really weird that so many people there have a big, strong opinion on foreign policy for some reason. I don't know why.
That's anti-Semitic dog whistle. No,
yeah, exactly.
We've had a lot of this discourse.
Yeah.
I agree. It is. I agree.
Do you think running on Israel's committing a genocide in one of the most Jewish districts in America, where 1/5 of the constituents are Jewish, is a smart strategy?
Is it smart electorally?
What do the Jews in the district think? I mean, they might be against the war.
Are you assuming?
I'm serious.
You assuming that Jews have a particular view?
Most Jews are not calling it a genocide. I'm going to spare my opinion or anything, but most Jews are not out there saying Israel's committing a genocide. That is a fringe opinion among Jewish people.
Among Jewish Democrats?
Yes, Jewish Democrats as well.
I'm not so sure about that, right? Because the Democratic Party is pretty convinced it's a genocide, or that there at least was a genocide. And now maybe the subgroup of Jewish Democrats.
I just found it. All right. It's 1/3 of US Jews say they committed a genocide. So 30%.
No, but we want Jewish Democrats, right? Isn't that the denominator?
Oh, that's true. I don't know about Democrats specifically.
And if it's 1/3 overall in America, what must it be for Jewish Democrats? I mean, listen, I don't know. Electorally, maybe you're right, Guy. My vibes tell me that you're right about that. Okay. But is that the question? Is the question what's smart to run with, or is the question
my
what's
point
the
is
right thing?
I don't think this guy's running to win. I think he's running to get internet points and hang out with Hassan Piker.
Oh,
okay, why? Like, because he's like a charismatic, bloviating kind of like internet personality?
No,
I mean, like he's got a good chance, right? It's like 40.
No, he doesn't have a chance at all. The polls are like Moskowitz +30, man. He's getting his ass blown out.
I saw a close one recently.
Yeah, from his campaign.
Probably an internal like once you tell them about the genocide, then they like switch their position. One of these.
Yeah, it's like a +2. And also there's like Holocaust survivors. I believe there's a huge not a lot of Holocaust survivors left, but there are some in the district too. You know, it's just but my point is he's running a D+30 campaign in an R+3 district with a huge population of Jewish people. And lo and behold, he's getting people like Hassan excited for him. Like, to me, it's all like the Israel connection. It's just, oh, I found a district where there's a guy with the most Jewish last name in the world who supports Israel. And I'm going to go get Hassan and everybody worked up over it and get internet points. Like, really, this is where.
So you think he's doing it because
he wants to be a streamer, or what does he want to do?
I think that played a big factor in his decision making. Like, you know.
What's the next play? He wants to be a streamer? Like,
what I found the number. This is from AP Nork. It's 51% of Jewish Democrats say that U.S. is too supportive of Israelis. That does not say they support the call it a genocide.
Okay, that's different. There's a gulf between
I agree.
I can't find the specific thing on.
We're looking for the number guy. All right, but like, let's assume that you're right there.
But let's just say it's too supportive, right? Like, assuming it's 1/5, that would mean that 1/10 of these Jews would say, "Hey, like, I'm more in favor of the guy that's willing to do some sort of arms embargo." And Moskowitz has been incredibly pro-Israel in the past. Obviously, he's got a Jewish constituency, but he was going so far as to do stuff I wasn't really happy with the criticizing like the Columbia college protesters, and like I feel like he's lumping himself in with that crowd of people that are like cool with Mahmoud Khalil being like fucking abducted.
I mean, that's fucked up, the Mahmoud Khalil part, but I don't know what he did on Mahmoud Khalil. But
he did, just to be clear, he didn't. I don't know if he said anything about this specifically, but he was like super anti the Columbia University protests. So
okay, but I want to ask Guy, like, to what end? Are you saying that he wants to get in with the Hassan crowd so that he can just have the clout, so that he can just have influence? Like, what's the
I don't have the answer, but I don't think he wants to be a streamer. I don't think that, but he wants to be one of these like online personalities. He's involved in digital media. That's what he's been doing for work. So I imagine he just wants to build his profile so he can do something in the future with that. You know, having 100,000 followers, you can do a lot with something like that. So I don't know, but I don't think it's to represent the people of, I believe, Florida's 25th congressional district. That's for sure. Not the way he's running this campaign.
Okay, now here's a response, Guy, and I want to know your thoughts on it. We've seen massive polling errors in primary elections. Now, the obvious counter is those have been to the favor of more moderate candidates. If there were a massive polling error here in this race, would you support Larkin in the general election?
First of all, your argument means that Larkin loses by 60 points, not 30 points, because the polls have been overestimating progressive support. So let's say there's a miracle and I don't know, there's like an outbreak of a virus and all those old people in that district don't go out and vote and Larkin squeaks out a victory.
Wait, Guy. I don't know if we can take that, this might be, not substantiated. So Benjamin, the PV guy, works in his district. He's claiming that I've known him for over a year. I had to convince him to be more online. And when I first met him, he and his team were nervous about getting online attention. So it looks like someone pushed him into the online
How much
space.
was the super chat? That
$0. $0. Benjamin is skimping out on me today, okay? And this was just
get the fuck out of here. Talk about hearsay, conspiracy theory, useless anecdote. Fuck off.
Okay,
Benjamin.
I'm just saying.
I know the guy. He's totally chill, man. Get the fuck out of here.
What do you have, Ira? You like?
I have the campaign he's running in an R+3 that didn't even work in a D+4 and barely works in a D+30. That's
sure, but judging him on his campaign is fair. I think he's just doing it for clout. I mean, I have zero evidence of this. So.
Because. Okay, Soy Pill, if you're running in a R+3 and you saw this strategy did not work in a D+4 recently and only works in a D+3, you're going to have to shift a little bit here. You don't go around saying certain things. So
maybe he will in the general, but I've been, especially this year, more amicable to the people who are like, I'm standing on fucking principle and I'm pushing for the things I believe in. And if my constituency doesn't vote for it, they don't, but I want to drag people towards a more positive message. I mean, Bernie, maybe he was I think probably like a little more tanky socialist like in the past, but he has been saying so much of the same stuff for years, and that's what attracted me to him. And he's shifted the Overton window with his politics. And maybe Oliver Larkin does lose if he wins and then goes to the general, but I want him to shift that electorate more left.
He forced the conversation, Ira. Isn't that a good thing?
Okay. Okay, well, if that's your argument, then sure, you can make that he's got the people talking. Maybe he's a charismatic guy. He wants to be on Fox News, which he has been a few times, in order to push back and try to convince people that his ideology is the way to go. Sure, okay, but I just think it's there's better ways to do that than to run a
Why is it
pretend
so
campaign.
personal though,
Get your
IRI? It
ass
feels
kicked.
really
Huh?
personal, like that you really like don't like this guy, and maybe it's just the nature. Because I don't think you have the same
Because
issue with like El Sayed, and it sounds like the Larkin shit is particularly like annoying to you in a way that El Sayed. I didn't hear you have
Sure.
that kind of passion for El Sayed.
Well, because I think El Sayed is a qualified candidate, and he's run for statewide office before. He's had a position. This guy came from running someone's Twitter account to, I'm going to be the DSA god in a right-wing district, and he's messing with my boy Jared Moskowitz. Okay, there's not a lot of us Jewish brothers in Congress, so I got to stand up. But no, I like Jared, and I think Jared is a very charismatic guy. He's done well in the minority. And I can't wait to see what he does in the majority. And I already lost Dan Goldman, who I think would have been a stellar asset as a former prosecutor in holding Trump accountable the next 2 years. And we can't do shit in Congress the next 2 years. I'll wrap it up here. But the best we can do is fight Trump. And I want fighters, man. I don't want people out there talking about Medicare for all for the next.
But that's why Moskowitz pisses me off.
Pisco. Yeah, Moskowitz, who was like voting potentially with Trump on the War Act, he voted to end the COVID national emergency. Like only 11 Democrats would to do that back in 2023. He joined the Doge caucus. Like this is not a fighter against Trump that we want. I don't think so.
First of all, the Doge thing was to try to work with these guys. Jared Moskowitz has a unique bipartisan history, so that's kind of his thing. Okay, he's not trying to enable Trump. He's trying to actually get shit done for people. He's the real deal. He's not just some like
voted for the Lincoln Riley Act.
That as well.
Yeah, a lot. So did John Ossoff.
Fuck that shit.
I don't like that.
Fucking
I
when
don't
John
like
Ossoff
that.
did it too. Yeah, I don't like that shit. I want fighters too. Now, I think that Moskowitz has had some good moments, but yeah, he pisses me off when he sounds a little, I don't know about the Iran war. Even if he ends up eventually voting for the War Powers Resolution, he was, signaling that he was going to be against it initially. And that to me is like, that's a big miss, because for me, the Iran war is like a really, really big deal. It's unconstitutional. It's a strategic disaster. It's a moral failure. It's all that shit. And so people who don't see that, I'm going to hold it against them. Now, at the end of the day, this race, maybe Larkin sucks, and maybe he's unable to win the general election. But I don't really like have the same heat for them as you do. And go.
What? Sorry, you asked me why am I so focused on this? I think he's an egregious example of these clout sharking people riding the DSA wave in this lull in our democratic politics. We're still coming off of the Kamala defeat. Democrats have been the minority. There's people taking advantage of the moment saying, do something, Democrats, do something. I'll get in there and I'll do something. So I think we're risking losing someone who I think can be a huge asset. And I'm sick of this shit. I respect people like who are serious candidates, but this guy's not a serious candidate.
All right.
Now,
I mean,
Bernie and AOC agree with me because they didn't endorse his ass.
Wait, this might be the smartest thing Bernie's ever done, considering he's a former Bernie staffer, and we've seen the history of former Bernie staffers. All right, like if that's the biggest criticism I've ever had of Bernie Sanders.
Was Nina Turner a former Bernie person, or was it a?
Yes, she was co-chair of his 2020 campaign.
Brianna Joy Gray. Turner, like
what's happening? Bernie Bros.
She endorsed Oliver,
but he worked on the Adam Schiff campaign. So does that balance
that's
it out?
even weirder to me. Like, how do you work with Adam Schiff, who's like Hassan was laughing at the Trump administration investigating him, which is just reprehensible. So spare us.
He's not Hassan. Larkin is not Hassan. I mean, why does it matter? Like,
okay, but Larkin loves Hassan.
Okay.
And so Larkin worked for Adam Schiff, and now he's the DSA.
Maybe
Messiah.
that's what radicalized him, guy. Maybe he was like, I've seen the Schiff campaign, and I'm not happy. I'm a DSA guy. Wait, did you know? Because I've been fed I gotta admit, this was fed to me from chat, and I looked it up. It's true. Trump was considering Moskowitz as like the FEMA head Like that's how
that.
work with Trump this guy is and not fight against Trump. So I don't know if this guy's a fighter. That's not
but hold on,
consider.
Soypil, he ran emergency response in the state of Florida. He's known as like this Democrat who won. He was in the state house. And then after 2018 with the Stoneman Douglas stuff, he became like a big champion of gun rights and helped usher in some gun reform. And then DeSantis appointed him to run like FEMA in Florida.
But do you think Trump cares about the quality of someone running a program, or do you think he saw Moskowitz as like as like a useful idiot for the? Because don't they call him a Ron DeSantis Democrat because he was appointed multiple times by Ron?
If you look at himself as an appointed Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, Democrat. I think he's less of a loyal Democrat than Joe Manchin was, to be honest. But I mean, I'm fine with him winning. I have no issues with him. I mean, it's if it's a plus, 3 + 5 Republican district, he does piss me off too. But it's one of those electoral calculus things. And
same with Maria Gluesenkamp-Perez too, by the way. And I endorsed her.
Yeah.
Now that she won the general, but she pisses me off too. Sorry to interrupt.
There's another race I want to hear your guys' opinion on. So I think there's around like 60 something members of Congress who are black. There's around 30 something who are Jewish, and there's an interesting race next door with Elijah Manley and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a Jewish woman running in a majority black district after it was redrawn. There's 4 black candidates splitting up the race. Elijah Manley is the biggest competitor, the DSA candidate. He is black, gay, and also a Jewish convert. So he's kind of like Thanos with the the woke Infinity Stones.
We just need disabled, trans.
It's a lot of buffs.
Yeah. So I was wondering. I feel like if the DSA was going to push hard for a race, I feel like that'd be the one to focus more energy on. But I'm hearing more about the Larkin race for whatever reason. Right. I wonder if you guys have any intuition for why they're not focusing on. I mean, they give some attention to it. But what do you think? What do you think?
It has to do Israel.
I think it has to do with the last name Moskowitz. But I know Debbie Wasserman Schultz is Jewish as well. But I think it's I don't know. It's the large Jewish population. I don't know what the makeup is in that district, but.
So Wasserman Schultz will be she might be the only representative if she wins of a majority black district who is not black left in the country, or one of the only left over. And then Elijah, I know the politics are complicated when it comes to someone who's Jewish versus someone who converted to Judaism as a religion, obviously. So those are complicated issues. But yeah, it's really, I don't know. I wish the DSA, if they were going to be pragmatic, like you said, they can move resources around, pick which candidates are actually worth it. But that's one reason why we're not too worried about them, right? Because they run these shit candidates in these districts. And I do agree somewhat with Soypil and Pisco that pushing the conversation can be useful. And I also agree with IRI that like a lot of the politicians, most of them, I'd say 95+% of politicians in America want to grow their own political brand. You can debate if it's for altruistic reasons, for self-serving reasons, but they want to leverage it into owning their own nonprofit. So like Stacey Abrams has a great nonprofit. She does great democracy work, but it's also self-beneficial to run and make her name bigger in politics. And she ran some great races for Democrats. So that's why politics is so hard. Sometimes a lot of it's in a moral gray area, but I'm sure IRI would say that what's his name, Oliver. Oliver is probably mostly in the negative part of that gray area, I'd assume you'd say, and then like someone like Stacey Abrams would be in the positive side of that, who leverage her star potential and views into something good with her nonprofit work in Georgia for Georgia democracy.
I do want to add Larkin, to his detriment, his stance on Taiwan I thought was atrocious.
What did he say?
And he was basically like, "Oh, it's not our position to like defend them. China wants to do it." Like I'd have to go back and watch it. I just remember being very, very not happy with that answer.
That's the Hassan influence. It's the Mao in him.
Or maybe it's manufactured consent. That's why Hassan likes him. Who can say?
Yeah.
But but it also, just to be clear, like Moskowitz is not like a fucking Republican. Like I want him to win if he wins the primary. Obviously, I'm just trying to push him back. I'm like, he's a big fighter. I think he works a little too close to the Trump administration. But he was on the oversight committee, right?
Yeah. I think that he's good on committees at times, and certainly better than a lot of these like old fogies who are just like, Mr. Secretary. Like, I think that he is personable and exciting for when he's in those spaces, and he plays well to the camera. I think that's why IRI is sort of more backing him. And Goldman, by the way, this was true of Goldman as well, where Goldman I thought had some really good moments in committees. And so I get it. I get the appeal. I get why people like him. I just find a couple of his positions, and me, people who are conciliatory to Trump.
You anti-Semitic Pisco. We know how you think.
Stop. Also, I was going to ask a question, but I think it's problematic. I won't do it.
Wait. What is it?
No, it was
ask
about
a problem. Look, there was at least
Jolah,
are you Jewish? We got 50% representation here. Okay, so
Jolah, are you Jewish?
I'm called Jewish because I have a big nose, but no, I'm not. And also,
Okay, so it's a 50%
I'm known as
representation,
racially
like-
ambiguous.
No, I'm not going to
in the
ask you. You're
town I
not
grew
going
up
to
in,
bait me.
so I've heard a lot of.
Oh my god.
Oh, do it.
No. He's a Jewish convert, right, Elijah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you think that was? It's just a question. Did he marry into that, or what explains the conversion process?
Isn't it pretty difficult versus versus
That's what I'm
Christianity? You could join
wondering, yeah.
Christianity doing anything basically, but Judaism is harder and Islam's harder to join.
I've
anyway,
never
my
heard
whole
of.
point is, yeah, go for it.
Go ahead, Peace. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I understand the appeal to Moskowitz, but I don't really think that he's like the top fighter against Trump. I think that he is good on a camera. I think he's effective as a parliamentarian. But that said, I think it's fine to have a challenger. If Larkin is saying some stupid shit, I'm fine also though for you to call it out. If he's campaigning with Hassan is bad, and so that's all good.
I do have a question about another race that's kind of related. So I saw this really weird Hassan clip reacting to the primary results of Scott Wiener and Connie Chan. And he was saying how Scott Wiener is the more openly anti-APAC candidate, but he is a deceiver and he's very slimy behind the scenes and he's lying about his positions. And Hassan said he would personally campaign for Connie Chan, who's by far the more pro-APAC candidate endorsed by Nancy Pelosi over Scott Wiener, who is by far the biggest progressive in the race. And it's really weird for me why Hassan would choose to endorse Connie Chan or to give kind words to her and to say that Scott Wiener is being a deceptive, secret, malicious, behind the scenes,
potentially
covert,
rubbing his hands, you might say.
Yeah, lying about his position as being anti-APAC, but Connie Chan is like openly more pro-APAC, and he would campaign for her, the Nancy Pelosi candidate, versus the progressive. I wonder if anyone has any opinions on that race. That was weird to me.
Side supplement to that. I don't know if you saw like the track APAC thing switch when it's like, okay, yeah, yes. Connie Chen, when she's against Shoykot, it's like, look how much money she takes from APAC, and now she's against Scott Wiener. He's got the red because he's promoted by pro-Jewish lobbies, but Connie Chen is anti something, so she gets the green track APAC.
They're totally just clowns, man.
It's
totally they're
ridiculous.
Just that Twitter account is full of clowns.
Well, I mean, Hassan I think it has something to do with the last name again. Scott Wiener. I don't know.
That's what Jolah said. We should run on Yummy Wiener, right? That's the Democratic position, right?
Bro,
he is a very good looking man. Is he like 50 or 60? He's very young. Yeah, he is a very good looking man. Yeah. So that might.
Sorry, I also want to call another good looking man, a really good looking man, Hutch. He just had a debate with Sky Politic Punk or something. I reviewed it for a little bit. I'm disappointed Hutch couldn't make it, but check out the shirt that Hutch is wearing. I just think it looks really good on him. I just wanted to, quick shout out to Hutch.
We got the Hutch replacement for today. I mean, he's the one who brought up Hassan more, right? Like that's
true. And I felt like was channeling the spirit of Hutch. Yes. He was. I felt his presence around me. I really did.
Yeah. But no, Guy, we interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I think he's going after Scott Wiener because of the Jewish connection. I mean, I have to be careful what I say here because Hassan is Sue heavy and whatever. I don't want the drama, but I think at the very least you can say that Hassan is happy to fuel the anti-Semitism fire. And I think he's aware that his actions and his support lead to fueling that. I don't want to say he's anti-Semitic, though I could lay out the case if I really wanted. And I'm sure people will get upset.
Don't worry about it.
But he is fueling the fire. And I think this is another example, raging against Scott Wiener. Didn't he call him a homo-fascist or something like that? Like, this guy is also a bigot towards gay people.
And he hates white people, too.
Well,
wait, can I sweep for Hassan? I think we talked about this, but isn't it the meme where it's like the drone and it's like Republicans and then it's like a drone but with a rainbow flag and it's like Democrats will do like the pride bombing and it's like you guys just want homo fascism, which sounds like global homo, which is like a fascist slur or whatever. But I thought it was the idea of like you want fascism but with a rainbow pride flag because he is gay, but yikesy.
Why is Scott
on the
anti-Semitism anyway?
Thing,
like,
yeah, I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's not well. Okay, to be fair, was he not like he swapped his position on Israel Gaza like relatively recently, like in the primary, I think, right?
Yeah, right before yeah.
But I don't know why that bears on that. But
he didn't call it a genocide hard enough, is what you're saying, Soypa.
With he needed to do it with a capital G.
See, the goalposts move, man. They just keep on rolling.
Well, on the anti-Semitism question, is it not fair to question? Is it not fair? Well, on that, no, on that though, is it not fair to question?
Pisco's an expert in anti-Semitism.
Okay, that's go ahead, Pisco.
I'm going to say real quick, tomorrow on the definitive anti-Semitism discussion we're having at 12 p.m. Eastern with a true defender of Israel and of these discussions. That's Avi Bitterman. He's going to make the case that Hassan is anti-Semitic. And so if you want to see that coverage, that's 12 p.m. with Lonerbox as well. You can watch it on my channel. I'm sure Lonerbox will stream it. And so if you
want
that
tomorrow?
That's tomorrow, 12 p.m.
Oh, cool. Tuesday. That'll help me prep for my anti-Semitism discussion with Lonerbox on Wednesday.
Beautiful. Yes. You had a question.
Well, no. What I was going to say was, if someone is, vehemently one position and changes it during the election in the middle of the cycle, I think it's fair to call into question how authentic they're being. I don't think that's ridiculous to be like, are you seriously doing this, or was this because of pressure and you're just saying it? Like, these are things that, if you changed it before and you say this is why I changed it, I don't know like how much it's unfair to say I'm not quite so sure how authentic that person's being. So.
Yeah, I don't remember why Hassan is mad at Scott Wiener. I have no idea, but I don't think it's in good faith. I'll just say that. But I agree. I mean, if somebody changes their position recently, then you have every right to wonder if they're authentic and they really mean it. Why not?
Yeah, when did Elijah convert to Judaism?
4 years ago.
Curious.
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 I just want to know about that process.
I don't think there's some big beef between recent converts and people been Jewish for a long time. I've never heard that one.
I don't know. An expert.
I as a Jewish ethnic man who follows zero Jewish practices, this man who is converted, 4 years ago, probably is far more Jewish than I ever will be. But yeah, so I can't comment on.
Did you have a bar mitzvah?
No, I didn't. I didn't have a bar mitzvah.
Oh,
I can't read a single word of Hebrew.
How Hispanic are you?
25%. Which is funny because my Jewish also comes from my Hispanic mom, who is like Jewish Hispanic.
Interesting.
Yeah, and she, we did a little Passover once in a while. We did a little Hanukkah gifts. We made some latkes. And
did you get Hanukkah and Christmas?
Yeah. What are you calling me greedy, Pisco?
No, I did.
Are you saying I'm greedy?
Whoa! I never said that. I never said that.
I do want to say there has been recent examples. There currently is of white members of Congress representing predominantly black districts, like Steve Cohen in Tennessee. So it's really up to the community who they send to Congress. It's not like, black community has to send black person to Congress. I understand the argument, representation matters, but there are plenty of examples of black communities excitedly sending a white guy to represent them.
They endorsed the Congressional Black Caucus endorsed Donovan McKinney, I believe, although Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Shree, who's a really funny dude. He makes good social media content. But I saw a lot of celebration from like Haley Stevens as well. It's really cool to see that there's going to be a black man representing that district now in Michigan. So it is great to see when that does happen. But yeah, obviously. And also, by the way, shout out to Justin J. Pearson, really amazing young progressive who won the primary pretty easily, I'm pretty sure, in Memphis. It's a difficult battle now with the redistricting. But
by the way, just did a little research, and according to the internet, he converted to Judaism, Elijah Manley, because he was a former Mormon, and the Jews were more accepting of him. They made him feel more loved and at home. Like he got a lot of homophobia from the communities he was in before that. So the warmth of the Jewish community brought him to Judaism. Yeah.
What a beautiful story. Can I
Pisco,
say,
all right, rein it in, Pisco. We get it. You're not anti-Semitic, okay?
So, can I say something about Hakeem? Because someone invoked him. There was an answer given on a show about Medicare for all, and I wanted to get. I don't know if you guys saw that answer where he's like, "I'm not a co-sponsor. I don't currently support it." I thought that it was a bad statement to make, given just the optics of it and given like where we are in the minority, etc. But I also think that people are freaking out a bit too much. I think this is a conversation that's ultimately going to be resolved by the presidency. And that really, that's the race that matters. But I'm curious your guys' thoughts on the statement.
I saw it. It was on Meet the Press this Sunday. And I agree. I think what he was missing is that, look, we as the Democratic Party want to get to universal health care in America, universal coverage and comprehensive coverage. We have some different ideas on how to get there. And that was missing from his answer. He simply said, I don't support Medicare for all. And it gave the impression that he's okay with the status quo or just making it a little cheaper. Whereas I don't think that's the Democratic Party's position. We want to see everyone have access.
Well, luckily, luckily, we don't expect Hakeem Jeffries to know what the Democratic Party's position is. He's not really in a position of power or anything. The quote is, it's not legislation that I currently am co-sponsoring or that I support, but I support the notion that we got to find a path to fix our broken healthcare system. That is literally like concepts of a plan. And I agree with that. Like, you got to say, like, what I do know, I don't agree with Medicare for all, but what I do know is we are going to lower costs. We are going to lower prescription costs. We're going to make sure Americans have affordable healthcare. We are going to do this. However we get there, we don't know. But we know the Republican Party is going to do the opposite. They're going to make sure you cannot afford anything in this country. And that's what matters. As Democrats, we're going to do we're going to make it better. Democrats good, Republican bad. So.
And sometimes he's good at doing that. Like there have been times where Hakeem Jeffries, and I know that Jolah, I don't know, have you been a sincere convert over to Hakeem Jeffries? I'm not sure about that because you've been roasting him. You have historically roasted him pretty hard, and I've agreed a lot with your roast just in terms of optics. But there are times where Hakeem Jeffries does that very well. And I think one example is after the Democrats did really good in 2025 in some of these special elections and races, I thought Hakeem Jeffries had a really good performance on CNN. And so it's disappointing to see him go on Meet the Press and give this kind of like concepts of a plan answer.
Yeah, I had an unfortunate tweet that the one community dug up of me saying to Kyle Kalinske, "Can we please bash Hakeem Jeffries together with my childhood hero?" Yeah, I did convert. I do like the videos where Hakeem Jeffries looks like a robot with like sunglasses on. He's like, "Hello, children. We are going to talk about how to defeat Donald Trump to get the bad guy out of that White House." It's just like, yeah, I mean, I with the Zoran endorsements, and I think he's been an effective manager of the rise of the DSA in the party. So he has gained my respect for that reason.
Well, it sounds like he's reached out to all these guys who have won. The guy, Chris Rabb, who won outside of Philadelphia as a DSA candidate, he was on another Sunday show. And he was asked, do you support Hakeem Jeffries as leader? And he said he hasn't asked me for his support. But it didn't give me the impression that Hakeem hadn't talked to him, because Hakeem said he reached out to a lot of these other people. So I still think that Hakeem has the caucus's support. And
he does
show up on. I just think we're going to show up on January 3rd and see everybody vote for him. He's going to settle it all before then.
100%. I mean, I don't think that there's any chance that if the Democrats take the majority, doesn't get the gavel. I think that he absolutely will. And so I'm resigned to that, even though there's some things about him that annoy me. And to be honest, he said, it's not legislation I support. It's not something I'm co-sponsoring. That's a very easy, in my opinion, statement to walk away from. If you just change the bill a little bit, and if you have the different numbers in Congress, if you give a big enough majority, you'll be like, oh, now it's in a position where I'm feeling good about it. I'm co-sponsoring. And so it's not the end all be all. And I don't want people to freak out about it. For me, the more salient point is about the optics and the rhetoric. And in that moment, I just thought it wasn't a good moment.
It's like Joe Biden when he was asked the question, like, would you sign Medicare for all into law? And I'm pretty sure he said no. And all I wanted from Joe Biden in that moment was, I will do anything to lower the cost of healthcare for Americans. Whatever the easiest, quickest option is, we will be doing that as a Democratic Party. All the voters want to hear is we are going to get the job done, not some conceptual, not some, we're actually going to explain things bullshit that Republicans, they want to harvest the fact that we don't make slogans and stuff for everything.
To defend my man Hakeem, because I think he's done a good job. And I think the fact that nobody is trying to run against him, and every time any Democrat is asked, do you support Hakeem as leader, they say yes. But he did say in that same interview, we will restore the enhanced ACA subsidies as an example of what they would do to make life more affordable, which he noted made health insurance more affordable for 20 million people.
Yeah, he did mention that specifically. Yeah.
It is difficult having this conversation too, because it's kind of like a big shot in a basketball game, and the great politicians I compare it to like Kobe. So it might be like John Ossoff, or like even like Sanders has his moments. Old Joe Biden had his moments as well, where it's like, all right, here's the question they're teeing up to be clipped on social media. I know this is coming. This is the exact clip they want. And I am going to smack the ball out of the park on this one question, because I know this is going to be the quoted one. The descriptive conversation is not going to really be spread at all. So how can we formulate? And that's why the theater kids are so good at packaging these responses. Either if it's a question that you can't answer well, so like like, why are you pro mutilating children? You just like divert and you have an answer that dissolves it, so you don't have like a clip for Fox News if you try to be too technical about it, or you just turn it back on them and make an attack on them and something that you could be using for your own political agenda. And that's the biggest gripe with Hakeem Jeffries that I've had, is just looking terrible in media. And others would say it's not his job to. But I will mention as well, in Michigan, pay attention to William Lawrence. He's going to be on Hassan's stream too, but he's a Sunrise candidate, Sunrise Movement candidate, super far left. The race was split. He won 45% of the vote. I think he would have won regardless in that Michigan district. But he, being a super far left Sunrise Movement guy, I think he's one of the founders. He's going to be on Hassan's stream. I saw a video of him asking Hassan to be on it. He already endorsed Hakeem Jeffries unequivocally on when he was asked that question. He said, yes, I will be voting for Hakeem. So that tells me Hakeem is working behind the scenes to make sure this coalition stays together, which is why I
the
respect
audience,
him now.
and totally not for me because I'm an uninformed political pundit. What is the Sunrise Movement?
Far left, ultra progressive. It was originally for climate change. It's like a 501c4. I think they do political messaging, but then they started talking about like only things like foreign policy, and people were saying like, hey, Sunrise Movement, I thought you were talking about climate. But they did more general progressive messaging after a while, but pretty far left.
Okay. Yeah, they're known for climate change. They had like a sit-in in Pelosi's office when
that was them. Okay,
took back the House in 2019, and AOC went there, and it caused some problems, cheering them on. Brad Lander also the next day when he won swore his allegiance to Hakeem. So I agree. I think he's reaching out to these guys. He's going to work with them. He's not threatening them. He's these guys know there's limits to what they can ask for, and I don't blame them for withholding their vote. I was actually surprised at the guy you mentioned, Jolah, giving it up so easily. Didn't even get taken to dinner or anything. Like, play the game a little, man. But maybe they were already promised things like, you're beyond this committee if you just say tomorrow you support me.
That's interesting as well to think about, because you guys know the Fight Agency, right? The one that did Grant Plattner, that is doing, I think, some Troy Jackson, that did Donovan.
Who's McKinney, the name of the guy?
Katz.
Maurice
Katz. Morris Katz. So the candidates that are endorsing Hakeem Jeffries off the bat are from that Fight Agency. The Fight Agency has worked with all of them, but the more DSA candidates who are not Fight Agency aligned are the ones who are refusing to endorse Hakeem right away. So there's something happening with these different interfactional coalitions that I don't have a good descriptor of what's happening exactly yet, because I don't understand enough about the Fight Agency, but definitely pay attention to that. The DSA, 100% DSA candidates are not doing the Hakeem Jeffries coalition building, but then the Fight Agency and then even like the AOC and Bernie's are going for that, changing the party strategy and leveraging their power in the coalition to get concessions eventually and to be complementary instead of destructive within the party, which is I don't know if it's positive or not. It's hard to say, but yeah, keep a lookout.
I know that we're already over time, but do we have a little bit of time to talk about like the matchup?
This super chat. Yes. Pisco, have you addressed rub-off gate? He dropped the bombshell during the Andrew Wilson Candace Owens debate. What is rub-off gate?
All right.
What is that?
I said in my lead-in to the Andrew Wilson Candace Owens conversation that I wanted to say Andrew Wilson rubs me off. Rubs me the wrong way. I said it again. I unironically said it again. That's the gate. Okay, that's the whole thing that he's referencing. And congratulations, Josiah. You have your second clip. Go for it. Yeah. So that's what the whole thing is. I want to talk about elections. Fuck Josiah. Yeah. Fuck him.
Wait, I have a Ron in the title. Can we really quickly talk about like what the fuck is going on? First of all, I know we did an episode like a month and a half ago where we're like, oh, ceasefire, guys. But like now he's claiming that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be U.S. territory. What's that mean for like going forward? Like, are we...
It's pointless to do this like week by week thing. It's a fucking disaster. There's no way out. It's a huge issue. And I just like don't know how anyone gets out of it, frankly. He's fucked us royally.
And we're threatening Oman now.
Yeah, this isn't the first time, by the way. Back in May, he threatened them again, first time. So they're our ally, by the way. They're not some rogue country. But this is the 60-day mark for the Memorandum of Understanding expiring. And according to Iran, there's no talks. And I agree with Pisco. Like, the only off-ramp is for Trump to just declare victory and walk away and give Iran every single thing they want. Unfreeze funds.
Which is a disaster, too.
Yeah, drop sanctions, leave the region. Control of the Strait, control their nuclear program. They're going to get everything, every single thing. They're a superpower now.
It's a total disaster. And did you see what Trump said about South Korea? In the context of complaining that South Korea wasn't doing enough and going to war with Iran, he's now like glazing Kim Jong-un. You want to talk about tanky glazing and communist glazing? I get it. Yeah, Hassan, Mao Suit, all that shit. The sitting alleged president is saying that he loves North Korea. He has such a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. I mean, it's fucking insane. And we just need to get this guy out of the White House. It's a disaster every day. And the Iranians know that. And they're just letting, like, they really are just putting so much pressure on him. And it's not a surprise to me that that he's like pissed off, and every week it's a new policy.
Yeah, Pisco, I don't know if you saw, tanky sweeping, like you made the comparison. I think Hassan literally complimented Trump on that.
I know.
Is like, yeah. We align. I guess we align on the tanky glazing.
No, it's fucking disgusting. I condemn Hassan for saying that. That shit is fucking gross. North Korea sucks, and his position that is like it makes me insane that he would say that. That is to say, both Hassan and Trump.
Last time a allied country didn't go to war with us in the Middle East, it was France, and we just called them freedom fries for a couple of years. We didn't fucking like change our entire geopolitical stance on like whether or not we aid the country or like support
North Korea is like, they're stealing people's data, they're scamming people, they're obviously like a regional threat, they're firing missiles and shit, and this motherfucker is going to abandon South Korea and talk shit about South Korea because his war is not going well in Iran. He's like making all of our friends angry at us. It's a disaster.
Did you get new Hakeem Jeffries tweet, by the way, just a half hour ago? The ongoing siege of Palestinian homes in the West Bank by violent law-breaking settlers is unacceptable. Enough. It's time for the Trump admin. The Trump admin must compel the Israeli government to protect the lives, property, and livelihood of innocent Palestinian civilians. And this also comes today after Hakeem Jeffries and a bunch of other Democrats made huge statements denouncing Dan Blitzerian, that crazy anti-Semitic guy. Yeah. Yeah, whatever his name is, who's running a very anti-Semitic campaign against, I guess, like Randy Fine. And there's been pressure because Randy Fine is just as despicable when he talks about Muslims as well. So like it's hard to tell the line of denouncing Dan. I would prefer they denounce Dan and Randy Fine at the same time, but Dan is bad enough to do on its own, I think. But yeah, that's another controversy that was Twitter coded today.
Maybe like the Candace Hassan Piker resolution, like something like that. Put those two crazies together.
All right, Pisco, you're back.
Yeah,
we had our brief Iran talk. What is it that you wanted to cover?
Yeah, so like I saw some Senate race polls, and it really looks like Democrats are in a good position. Ooh. It's not obviously like a sure thing, but I even saw a poll. Now I don't know if this is true, out of Kansas. Is that right? Where the Democratic candidate was within 1 point. It might have been Kansas, might be some other red state, but a lot of good polling coming out and a lot of enthusiasm. And I'm just like feeling really excited to win, and I really want to just channel forward some energy in these last 80 days or something before the midterms. And so yeah, someone said, I saw some analysis that we're within a normal polling error range of either winning the Senate by like 50, having a 53 seat majority, or potentially only having 47 seats. And so a lot's on the line, and potentially you can get a majority that's both Fetterman proof and it's going to be able to get rid of the filibuster when there's a next. We need to think about that. Honestly,
I know. It's just so funny that's like a conditional, like
it is. Yeah. So here's the question, right? So if there's a vacancy on the Supreme Court, do you think there's a decent chance that Fetterman would vote for like some nominee that Trump puts forth?
Yeah, no. I'm not saying it's not serious. No. It's just a funny turn of phrase. Like, well, not a turn of phrase, but you know what I mean.
So that's what excites me. I just wanted to talk about the races for a minute.
I appreciate that. There was a Fox News poll that came out last week that had Ossoff plus 13, and Fox News polling is respectable. That's one of the solid ones. It also had 5 flips, including Texas. It didn't have Alaska on there, but it had in the same poll, with Democrats just doing a stellar job. Remember, we only have to flip 4 if we hold on to Michigan. It had El Sayed down 4 to Mike Rogers. So, I keep putting this out there. Throw Hassan under the bus, denounce him, do something. But El Sayed's going to have to change something here, man. I just want to see the guy win,
I think more Blues Clues memes. And
those are great. Yeah, we need that.
Do you guys see, speaking of Alaska, Mary Peltola rejecting the Kamala Harris endorsement? What did you guys think of that?
I don't give a fuck.
No? Whatever it takes to win, man. If she's won statewide before, so she knows what she's doing, and she felt she had to do that.
That's interesting, though. Like a rejection of Kamala is like a benefit to her. Like, I'm curious, because obviously I'm sure that's a weighted decision. I don't think this was on principle necessarily. It wasn't strictly like, no, I want your help, but I don't. Yeah, I need your help, but I don't want it or something. Yeah, it was like calculated.
I don't know if it's true, but I saw some someone saying that she had actually reached out to Kamala for support earlier in the summer. So this is kind of a turn.
Wow.
Don't know if that's true, but Mary Patola is a G, and I think she'll do what she has to do to win. And I think
ahead
she
in
can
every
win.
poll.
She wasn't in the Fox News one, but yeah, she has been ahead in polling. I mean, it's tough. It's against kind of a normie Republican, Dan Sullivan. He's not the most crazy guy in the world.
Isn't it rank choice or like runoff or something in Alaska?
Ranked choice,
yeah. And I've seen, maybe I missed the Fox News poll, but she's had at least a good slate of polls in which she's up by 2, 3, 4, even sometimes. And so that's really exciting as well. And I think the other Dan Sullivan is able to run. Am I wrong about that?
He is
Daniel Sullivan.
Yeah, but they got like incumbent next to the real Dan Sullivan. So they like hooked him up, you know, they did what they could.
Which is fine, I guess.
Guys, I need to show this attack ad from Tom Tiffany just dropped. Someone brought this to my attention.
Oh, is Crystal tweeting it out?
I want to see. I was going to ask, do we think that Crystal Ball will retweet this attack ad from Tom Tiffany?
Yes. Meet data center David Crowley.
There's an opportunity for us to really become AI and a data hub for not only for the entire country, but for the entire globe.
And he wants you to pay for it. Data center David Crowley won't roll back data center tax incentives. Our lakes run dry. Family farms paved over. Why? Because Crowley's campaign is funded by the people building them. Data center David Crowley. Big tech wins. Wisconsin pays.
Meet it's data so center. Fucking cynical.
Who's gonna retweet it, guys? Who's gonna retweet it?
She does. If she does, man, she's public enemy #1. So they missed an opportunity. They should have said data center David. That's it rolls off the tongue better than David
Center David. I can't even say it.
David.
But here's the thing. Yes, data centers is a hot boogeyman and it's got people excited. I don't think it trumps the economy and how pissed off people are about the war and paying more for gas. I don't know. Do you guys think that data centers will have bigger impact on a race like this than the economy?
Okay. Oh, not bigger than the economy, but it's that. First of all, Tom Tiffany is like not anti-data center. Oh, my camera just died. Am I gone?
Yeah, his name's Tiffany too. Like his name's Tiffany. No voters gonna. No Republicans
also pretty
for
dumb.
Tiffany.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, he's not some sort of moratorium champ. That's for sure. But if this is all they've got, you know, it's one step better than the socialist communist attacks they've been running. I guess those aren't going to work in Wisconsin. I'm
not sure about that guy. Really? I think the data centers are more unpopular than socialism. That's just based on polling that I've seen, and I'm not a socialist either. I've seen some that's insane polls that show that data centers.
I think it's one step better. What did he say?
No, one step better than the socialist critiques. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's one step better for the Republicans. It's a little smarter, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to matter. But I've been impressed by David Crowley. I thought he was just useless, but he's done some interviews and I've been like, damn, this guy, I can get behind this guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he.
And he refused to campaign with Hassan, which I thought was really good.
Yeah. Smart.
The attacks on him are reminding me of the attacks on Plattner insofar as like the right wing saying this guy's a neo-Nazi, and then all the Republicans are like, oh, cool, this guy wants data centers, and the Republicans who aren't against them are like, oh, okay, what's wrong with that? Oh, wait, you have the same position as him, Mr. Tiffany? You also want data centers? Yeah, it's kind of funny seeing these come from the right.
I think we have to be really open about how bad MAGA is and how not bad the DSA is just in this respect. I'm seeing more MAGA conspiracies about Wisconsin being rigged and stolen, MAGA conspiracies about this race than I did from any of the DSA types. I want to give them credit for at least adhering to that basic principle. And with the results of this election, with the polling and the chances they had to make that claim because of the 95% betting markets for Hong to win, they really could have done that. And I still want to reiterate like Francesca, her entire personal medical history was ripped apart, like mental health, her relationship with her son, her family life, like everything was ripped apart about her life. And for her to concede so willingly and so quickly and to be at a unity, I could not imagine being at a unity breakfast the next morning. Same for Michigan and like Minnesota.
Stevens,
and the Midwest is built different because like Texas, the candidates in that race are not campaigning together.
They're still
and in all these races that were they're still feuding down in Texas. I can't talk about that or I'm whatever. But like when we talk about the Midwest Democrats, they are doing the job, bro. They are doing the job that we need done. And even Josh Turek, like he's running against a woman, like, and he's a Paralympian. And Barack Obama did a great commercial with him that touches basketball, which is huge and big in Iowa. I'm feeling really good about him. I think he might be a sleeper. I'm feeling good about Josh Turek too in Iowa. So Midwest Democrats have killed it the past 2 weeks to round
Midwest
out the primaries.
Republicans, however, Mike Lindell, who has still not conceded his primary race.
Fight.
And listen, let's give Republicans credit where it's due. We say that Trump is able to decide all these primaries. He wasn't able to push Mike Lindell over the edge. And I just think it's just such a good reflection of the health of the Republican Party.
Well, another example was Darlene Graham in that special primary election to replace Lindsey Graham on the ballot in November. She only got like 32% of the vote. She's going to a runoff with Ralph Norman, who, Trump's endorsement did not clear the field. And there's a very good chance she loses and that's in like 1 week from now. So we're going to find out very quickly, but Trump is looking quite weak right now. But Mike Lindell was a terrible endorsement. What was he thinking? My God.
He was loyal.
Speaking of anti-Semitism, that one time he tried to sell a pillow for $14.88, and I think that was a dog whistle. I'm going to say it. Nope. I think he's a secret Nazi.
It was on accident. I own a MyPillow too, so I might have to.
Do you really?
Yeah, I own a MyPillow.
How is it?
That's like owning a Tesla.
I only bought it because of how much he sold it for. That's the reason I bought it. It's pretty good. And I got it for $5 at a discount store. It's not, honestly, it's a sleeper pillow. It's a decent pillow for $5.
Is that a pun? Is that a fucking pun?
By the way, Jolah, the Fox News poll that had 5 flips included Josh Turek in Iowa flipping that seat.
I'm feeling good about Turek. It'd be really funny. Not really. It's really funny though if he won in Iowa and then like El
Sayed lost.
I think it's possible. I hate to say it. I think El Sayed can be a great senator. And he's handicapping himself, unfortunately. But I don't know why he holds on to Hassan. I really think to try to become the first Muslim senator in America, rolling around with the guy who said America deserved 9/11, it just seems unnecessary, man. Like, throw that guy under the bus. Hassan should be volunteering himself as tribute. Don't you think he should be lying? What?
Do you think that number one is a significant campaign issue in Michigan? And then number two,
yes.
Do you think it comes off a little bit disingenuous if you like campaign with a guy in the primary and they're like, I disavow Hassan, fuck Hassan? Like, wouldn't that make you look a little bit weak?
I think I just think more people are paying attention as we get closer to November. And if he says something forceful, it'll have a bigger impact than just like continuing what he's doing right now. I just don't understand the advantage of holding on to Hassan. It doesn't make sense to me. And poor AOC, again, I hate to beat up on her, but 2 weeks ago, she was on a Sunday program and said that Hassan apologized for those remarks about America deserved 9/11. That is not true at all. He's got the framed photo behind him that he put up recently as a joke. And when his uncle confronted him, back when he said it, he was like, English is my second language. And I didn't say Americans.
No, he didn't. Really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, go look it up. He said, I didn't say Americans deserve 9/11. I said America.
Wait, hold on. I got to bring out my broom. Was this not the concept of blowback? The whole idea of like, we brought this on ourselves for
motherfucker
ravaging the Middle East.
Oh, really?
Oh, Osama bin Laden said that too.
We had it coming. That's different from Americans deserve to be killed.
Yeah, that sounds better. We had it coming. 3,000 of our fellow Americans.
Look, when I say 9/11 things,
it wasn't just Americans, Ira.
But I'm English first language, so.
Wait, no, he didn't say I don't understand English.
But Pisco and Soypill, I challenge you guys. What is the value of holding on to Hassan at this point for El
I'm not saying there's value to holding on to Hassan.
I'm curious. I'm not making you guys do the argument, but I'm curious. What do you think is the value in holding on to? Why do you think he hasn't abandoned him?
I think that he went with Hassan in the primary because he probably thinks that there's some value in the primary to Hassan. And the present thing that he needed to do was to win the fucking primary. And I think that in the general, it makes sense also for him to not be as like Hassan focused or whatever. And but I also think that like this whole now disavow after you had him in the primary, you kind of look two-faced when you do that. You know, I'm not so sure that that will play well or assuage the fears or assuage the like attack ads that are going to come no matter what. And so I just don't know why we think it'll be that impactful.
And obviously he has support from the community. Like this, my whole thing is like, hey, if this guy's going to help Democratic candidates, we should accept that help. If it's going to be the general, I don't know, maybe he thinks he'd lose more, ground game from the people who would otherwise, go out and canvass and door knock. He's got to engage community when he actually fucking uses it, Hassan. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a calculus. Maybe he doesn't want to seem two-faced. Maybe he wants to support. I don't know.
I think it's reckless. I mean, I think that the Republicans are going to run like $100 million in ads.
I'm going to challenge you, IRI. I'm really going to challenge you. What's the statement? What's the statement that you proposed that he make? I know it was a mistake to campaign with Hassan. I apologize for like. How would you make the statement?
It's an easy out. I've learned more since new clips and comments have been brought to my attention, and I have to take a stand. I can't chalk this up to just streaming for hours. At this point, I have to say something and distance myself from Hassan. And here's the thing. I love America. I hope Hassan finds a way to love America too. Like I don't work on El Sayed's team, but I'm just saying it's unfair. I admit it's unfair what El Sayed has to do. But this is what happens when you're the first and you're trying to do something like Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman on Supreme Court. She had to put up with a bunch of shit to get to that point. And it's unfair, but it is what it is. And I just don't understand why he's holding on.
If I was convinced that was going to play well for an audience, maybe focus test it or whatever, then I would agree with you. Do it. I'm obviously throw influencers under the bus to the extent that it's good for the the election chances. I'm just not convinced that it's a super big issue or that doing this is going to like help. It almost seems like you're just begging people to focus on it.
No, the Republicans, their first ad that they ran was associating him with Hassan, and they're now just saying that Abdul believes America deserved 9/11. They're skipping the Hassan part. So people may not believe this, but I actually think this could have negative impact on the Muslim community in America as a whole if he doesn't create that distance and throw Hassan under the bus. Like, you want to talk about Islamophobia and attacks against that community, him continuing to associate with Hassan and those comments just getting played over and over and over on Fox again and again and again, and no distance between Abdul El Sayed and Hassan, I feel like the greater community is impacted by that. Do you disagree?
I don't know that it will be significant is all I'm saying. And I don't know, like, there have been so many examples of people and Democrats trying to, act very concerned and act like fearful and shit. And I think it plays off as weakness. That's my intuition. I don't have any sort of empirical proof of that, but my intuition is
I don't have empirical proof, but to Guy's point, this is a bad sign. My friend's 70-year-old dad, who does nothing but watch C-SPAN, sent me an email a couple days ago, and he said, "Do you know who Hassan Piker is?"
Yes. Wait a second.
By email.
I have an anecdote.
And I'm like, this is like your grandma saying, "What's Bitcoin? Sell Bitcoin right now."
Yeah.
If your grandma asks you what Bitcoin is, sell Bitcoin.
Wait. I also have an anecdote. So I'm not telling you that, like, I have vibes that pull in both directions. My mom texts me like, "Who's this Hassan Piker?" And I'm just like, what is happening? The fucking streams are crossing. Something's going crazy. But no, I hear you. I don't know the best PR strategy. I'm not a PR guy, and I'm concerned that, and I'm not convinced that it's a big issue. Maybe it is. Maybe Guy is right. And I don't know that, like, apologizing for it or seeming like your apology is going to keep it out of the news. It almost feels like it'll be a vulnerability that will be identified, and it will just, people will be like, "You made a mistake, you condemned him," and they'll keep talking about it. So I'm just not sure that it's the right political strategy, but I can be convinced otherwise.
I agree with that, Pisco. And also, like, we have a political model where Americans have voted for despicable criminals who don't apologize for literally anything. So I think if the attack back is powerful enough, playing defense doesn't matter. You could just say, "I don't care about that guy, he's a Twitch streamer," and move on to issues that Americans care about more. I personally, I've talked to a lot of swing voters. I live in a very swing area. I have not heard a voter tell me they're voting on foreign policy, unless if they're far left. And maybe some super far right people who are extremely pro, like, the return of Christ in Israel, like some evangelicals. So when it comes to the issues Americans care about, I hear data centers, healthcare, and I hear tariffs. And that kind of stuff. So if Abdul can just pivot, but he talks about foreign policy a lot, so he does kind of force that issue. But I think he needs to make it less a part of his message and less obsessive. He won the Democratic primary, the only place people actually care about that. So I do agree as well that he needs to move away. Maybe just don't talk about Hassan ever again. And Hassan said he's not going to talk about elections. I think the same thing with Liz Cheney. I think they're going to have little to no impact on the overall outcome. And they're both like people with pretty bad positions that Democrats campaign with.
But he's asked about it in every interview, Jolah, because it's just red meat for a clip for these broadcasters, you know? So it's never going to go away, at least not in the next 80 days. And what do you mean Hassan said he's not going to talk about elections? What's that about?
He's been coping a lot. He's been coping a lot of clips like, I need unity. I need people to defend me. If they're not going to defend me, then I don't know if I could even talk about elections. Who knows how true it is? It changes by the day. It's a lot of like cry bully stuff. But
well, when Hassan endorses Wesley Bell, who beat Cori Bush and David Crowley,
then what, guy?
His defense. Then I'll start coming to his defense.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Didn't Cori Bush call Wesley Bell Republican, and she'll never support him no matter what? So Cori Bush is out of the party. Disgusting. I never want to hear her voice ever again. So Cori Bush is that's a good example of like you fail the litmus test completely.
Listen, Jolah, I don't know about you, but that sounds a little
Do you consider yourself white, Soy Pill?
You know what's funny? That district, Missouri's first congressional district, where Cori and Wesley went head to head, that is like a D plus 30. So you would think that the more DSA adjacent argument from Cori Bush would work, but the one difference was it has a large black population. So the interesting dynamic with that district. And Wesley Bell leaned into his pro-Israel. He didn't give a shit. He's not Richie Torres or John Fetterman, but he was like, that's our ally, and we got to stand with him.
All right.
Damn.
Well, that was a live and learn episode.
We really learned a lot.
Some stuff. Pisco, big announcement, right?
Big, huge, guys. So important. So fucking important. We are doing a channel consolidation when it comes to live and learn episodes. Okay, folks. And so no longer will we be splitting all the chats. We are talking about unity. All right. And we're going to have a big, beautiful chat in our live and learn channel. You should follow the Twitch as well. Follow the YouTube, because that's where it's going to be. And we're going to try to make it look a little bit better and nicer. You might have noticed some of the design changes and shit. And so just get ready for that next week, that it's not going to be on our separate channels anymore. We're consolidating stronger together.
And most importantly, we did not make this announcement when Hutch, the largest of the stream viewers, is here. So most people won't hear it.
I just want to say also, we're doing it because we want to show proof of a larger audience so we can get bigger guests to come on here and continue to just make more noise and be more of a presence and do bigger stuff. That's all.
I want all the Hutch chatters and the Pisco chatters and the soy chatters and the guy chatters to fight. I want y'all to fight and make that chat go like crazy. It'll be so
we'll have moderators from all the different channels come in and make sure shit doesn't get too crazy. So please
I don't know how that works. Moderators fight each other.
No. The different communities and shit. So like just try to be normal, please, and just let's not make this an issue, please.
Remember, guys, there is a block button, okay? If somebody bothers you, you block them. I block a shit ton of people, man. I got no problem blocking people. You'll never see them again.
But go subscribe to Live and Learn YouTube, because that's the only place you're going to get Live and Learn ever again, okay?
Ever.
You'll never, ever get it anywhere else. It's exclusive.
Jolah.
On Twitch.
And Twitch, yeah.
Final words. So, anybody from any part of this party, anyone who uses personal spite or animosity as a reason to not come together as Democrats, if you're not confident in our Democratic coalition, if you're not confident in liberalism, and if you want to yell from the outside, that's fine, but you're not in my coalition. If you're not vote blue no matter who all the time, you're not in my coalition. I'm confident Democrats are strong. I'm confident Democrats will win. I don't know what the future destiny of these elections are, but I'm very excited to see them progress. We don't need any tomfoolery going forward. We need no more jokes. And if we don't have those jokes and we can keep on coalescing and not accusing each other of being crazy tankies or corporate genociders, we can come together in the middle. And if we all do that, we can come together and light the wick to carry the flame. So I really appreciate you guys having me here today. It was an amazing journey being.
You're gonna get a
into
call
online
from
communities.
Liberal NATO. You're gonna get a call from Liberal NATO. I just want you to know that.
Liberal NATO. Oh no. Okay, well, we'll be waiting with my. Never mind. I was gonna say something inappropriate. Anyways, appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, yeah.
Thanks,
Do you have
Joel.
anything to plug?
Yeah, Jolah Politics on TikTok, Facebook, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and I don't really stream on Twitch, but I have the multi-stream running. So whatever platform you enjoy, Jolah Politics.
Okay.
I usually debate Trump supporters. I appreciate it. Again.
All right, Guy.
Anytime you need someone, let me know. Anytime.
Yeah, thanks for Jolah for coming on, man. It was fun chatting with you. No, I don't have anything to promote. Just come hang out on my channel if you guys want to keep talking about this afterwards. I don't know if anybody else is streaming, but
You've been killing it, dude, by the way. I mean, I've been seeing your numbers. I've been seeing like the chat's all hyped up, and I now like want to go to your channel for whenever there's an election. So I just really want to say that IRI's been killing it and doing a great job.
Appreciate it, bro.
Pisco, what you got?
Oh yeah, so tomorrow we're having the big anti-Semitism discussion with Avi Bitterman and and Loaderbox. Beyond that,
Wow.
I think
The
that
bigger anti-Semitism discussion on Wednesday with the soy pill and Loaderbox.
True. Yeah, it's a
Ooh.
big issue. Anti-Semitism is a big issue, and both on the left and the right. And so you can tune in to my channel or Loaderbox's channel tomorrow, 12 p.m. And then additionally, there's some debates that we're trying to line up and some collabs. So just stay tuned on my Twitter.
Pisco, I have to ask this because you're still in Japan. Do you ever pass as Japanese? Because the
No.
eyebrows? No, you never
No,
pass?
I'm like walking around like lording over, and like I'm taller and wider than most Japanese people.
Right.
And so like I stick out like a sore thumb, and then I like try to use my hands to be like, Mizu kudasai. I want
come on, you
ramen.
can-
Yeah,
give me some of that ramen.
yeah, but no one is mistaking me for a non-foreigner.
You can't hit them with you don't know any Japanese after you've been there?
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm doing my Duolingo. I'm doing my Genki. I'm learning little by little, but I'm not conversational at all. I got my hiragana down, but it's a long road before.
Can you say I don't speak Japanese? That's really important.
No, I can't actually even say that. Nihongo ga something.
Nihongo ga hanasemasu.
Yeah,
That's how you would say that. Yeah.
Nice shot.
Oh,
Way to
weird.
fucking take the opportunity to like mog me.
All right. What do I got going on? I am going to be streaming so much fucking more now. I'm going to go shoot for 3 to 5 streams. We're going to be streaming like probably every weekday, but I'm going to ramp it up because I got to get in the swing of things, figure out a schedule. New video coming out this week, and I'm doing a little campaign for soy plushies. Look at this little guy.
Get the fuck
at
out.
him.
That's the cutest
Look
thing
how
I've ever
cute he
seen.
is. His hat doesn't spin because it's not plastic; it's floppy. But he's a little
dope.
cutie guy, and you
That's
can buy one.
crazy.
Look for the link on my next video. It'll come out
That's
Tuesday or
crazy.
Wednesday. So
I'm gonna buy one.
Oh, you are? I'll take. I wish I
Yeah.
could send them to people I like for free, but I haven't.
I want to
gotten
get
out
a
yet.
conduit T-shirt, and I want to get a soy pill plushie. That's my Christmas wish list.
Hell yeah, hell yeah! And you want to learn how to say I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for living. Thank you for learning. Have a wonderful week, and see you guys later.
Stay cool.
Later.
Woohoo!